Hey now. We're live. Hey now, hey now, hey now.
Now I've got the song stuck in my head. Don't dream it's
Hey
over.
now, hey now, your
Yes.
dream is over. Sarah posted this meme on Facebook that was. Let me just bring it up, and I'll tell you. Where's Facebook? Oh, here. Okay. So it's a. I don't know if it's a It's a cafe, and it says Keshk Cafe, and then somebody wrote in front of that Psycho Killer. So it's like Psycho Killer, Keshk Cafe, and then I wrote a comment. Ba 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 ba. Run, 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 run away. I don't think the lyrics have Cash Cafe in it, though.
Oh.
What is the lyric, actually? Oh, it's not even in English. It's Qu'est-ce que c'est? It's French.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? What is it?
Yeah. Psycho Killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Ba 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 ba.
It's French.
It sure is French. Wonder what it means.
It means, what is it?
Oh, okay.
It literally means that.
Oh, it's what is this? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Psycho Killer. What is this?
It's like when people say je ne sais quoi,
Yeah.
it literally means I don't know what.
Yeah. Oh man. There's a story about linguistics that's probably apocryphal, but it had something to do with British settlers in Australia asking the Aboriginals, "What is that animal over there?" And they said kangaroo, which means I don't know. But that's probably bullshit, because if they lived there, they would have a name for a kangaroo. You know what I mean?
You're right. Just to be back really quick, I got 9 minutes now.
I just got to get the word out there. So let me post that we're live before I forget to do that. Oh no, I'm posting French everywhere instead of... I meant to post it... Boy, I'm really operating on a different level here, and it's not a high level. It's not a high level at all. I probably didn't need to post in Elise's Discord, but since she's not here yet, kind of works.
I return.
Okay. You're not gonna believe what I did.
What?
So I'm pasting the Go Live link in like Discord and all that, but it was in my clipboard, or at least I thought it was in my clipboard, but because I looked up that French phrase, that I wound up pasting that in like 4 servers before I realized what I was doing.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I fixed it, but I was like, Jesus, I'm operating on a different level, but not a higher one, just a different one. I posted on Elisa's server. I usually don't for this, because she usually does it since she's not here yet. Hey Alice, you saw that? I figured somebody would have seen it. Elise said, "Oh, Ted, thank you for the subscription. You're one and only Prime for 46 months. Thank you." That sub thing scared the shit out of me.
Feels like it's been a while since I've seen Ted.
No, Ted's been around. Just less so because of work. But let's have a little party in there. Thank you so much, Ted. Although I feel like your sub was just a little while ago. So weird. Sometimes they seem to come through quickly.
Thing like me where
maybe
that was twice a month.
Maybe. So Elise said she'll be here in 20 minutes, and that was 20 minutes ago. So I'm assuming she's like going to be here pretty soon. It's been a month. Well, I figured it's been a month. It just seems like it's been less. Oh.
Watching I heard somebody talking. I thought there was somebody in there with
Hey,
you because it was
Moogle.
a woman. And I left that live stream on by accident again. For kittens.
Oh, it's funny. Like, no, it's just me, right?
Half of them went out to get fixed today, so they're just coming back.
Yeah. No, you know what? You caught me. That was the AI girlfriend. That was Scarlett Johansson's voice you heard.
They actually did that entire movie with a different actress, and then went and re-recorded it with Scarlett Johansson because they thought she sounded better.
From my understanding, the original voice was the voice of Siri. And that it was because of an issue with Apple not really being happy about that. I don't know if that part's true.
Oh, the little girls that got fixed today, the girl kittens are wearing like little sweaters now to keep the instead of cones.
I saw a picture of a dog with the cone of shame on, and they put like a little like plushy thing that comes out of it that looks like olive, so it looks like he's a martini.
Yeah.
It was like when you make the best of it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna sit here for a little while and see if Elise comes on soon before we start. But we can go ahead and start anytime, because Elise did say to go ahead. But we'll try to give her a little time. But how's everybody doing? Let's see. We got Moogle, we got Ted, we got Alice. Obviously you're in here, EB. How's everybody doing? The teleporter is acting up.
Well, poor kittens are high now. Just coming out of the anesthesia still.
Aww.
That can't even stand up.
Yeah. I've had plenty of pets who had, one surgery or another, and they're always kind of dopey for a while.
Yeah.
The worst was my first dog, Xena, and she got fixed. She was so out of it for like a few days,
Aw.
Yeah. She was still a little puppy when she got fixed. She was like 6 months old, But a big girl, because, she was a Rottie.
I was going to say, she was like a Rottweiler, wasn't she? Well,
she was a
first I was thinking Doberman. I was like, no,
I've never had a Doberman, although I always thought they were really cool. One of my favorite breeds, actually. There's a guy on Facebook and YouTube that I follow. His name is Suave Xavier, that he has Dobermans, and he does videos with the Dobermans. Really cool shit.
Yeah.
He tries to prank his dogs, and it never works out. They're too smart for him. I'll have to link
Somebody
to
in the chat for the kittens, some goes in it now, but they were like, "Are you tasting purple yet?"
Are you tasting purple? Well, I was talking with somebody. Who was it? I think it was Apple. We were talking. Yeah, it was definitely Apple, because Apple was talking about the. There's a new kind of Cheetos, at Flaming Hot Cajun style Cheetos, and he was saying how good they were, and how he's not a fan of the regular Flaming Hot Cheetos because there's not much flavor there. And I said, yeah, they really just taste like the color red.
I was reading something last night that somebody said that they were tasting blue.
Okay, speaking of food and blue, how is it that blueberries are blue on the outside, green on the inside, but when you mash them up, it's purple?
It's crazier than that, because you take the skin off, they're green, and the inside of there is purple.
It's wild, yeah.
It's like the juice is purple.
Blueberries are delicious, though.
Yeah, they're state berry, because most blueberries are actually harvested here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's also why we got so many blueberry flavored stuff.
I know cranberries are from like Massachusetts or something, or Connecticut.
A popular like small brewery, microbrew, is people will make like blueberry ale.
I bet that's good.
It has to be very popular, so I guess it is.
I would try that. As long as it's good, like.
Oh yeah.
I had a honey flavored beer once, but it just tasted like sugar. Like it was way too sweet.
At that point, just drink mead.
Yeah. Oh, I've had mead. Mead is great.
It was actually the first alcohol I ever had.
Yeah. It'll also fuck you up pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. It's strong stuff. Because people think it's wine, because it's often referred to as honey wine. It's not wine. It is a liqueur, and it will get you there quickly, especially since it tastes so good.
The first time I went to Otakon, somebody brought a bottle and was passing it around in our hotel room. Problem was the 14-year-old, 13-year-old got drink too.
Oh, I think you told me that story actually, like
Yeah.
kind of when we first met. Yeah, I think that's also when you told me about the girl, the story about the girl, the homestruck girl that tried to dye her skin with the Sharpies and the vodka.
Oh yeah.
And I found that comic strip that somebody drew of her sitting in the tub going, "This is a good idea." No, it's not, and you're gonna find out.
I mean, this was before Homestuck was a thing when I went to Auticon.
Yeah, no, but I just remember you talking about stories of kids doing fucked up things at cons, you know?
I know that was the year that the same 13-year-old girl, she like secretly bought some lingerie. It was wearing that around the con, calling herself the hentai queen.
Yes, and you kind of protected her from the creepers.
I kept telling her, take my coat. I don't need it. I'm like, no, take my coat. And she was walking down the street. Sure enough, guys were like coming over. I'm like, you want to take my coat now? Yes.
I don't know what she thought was going to happen, but I'm glad that.
I'm wondering what the 20-something-year-old that was supposed to be that promised her mother she was going to take care of her.
I mean, like, when you start the story like a 13-year-old buying lingerie, and you're like, okay, that's something I'd rather not think about, but whatever. But then you said wearing it at a con. I'm like, no. And then you said calling herself the hentai queen, and I'm like, even worse. Does she even know what the word means, or does she just think it means sexy?
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, Elise is here. I can hear. We can hear you, Elise.
Let me figure this out behind the scenes. Sorry, friends.
All right, let me text Elise and let her know that we can hear her.
It might be like the other day when I was having that.
That's good that you can hear me.
Okay.
I cannot hear you.
Well, it's a start.
When I was.
I'm surprised Elise was able to join.
I can hear you. The other day when that happened to me, it was my headset dongle was turned down.
Okay, we're good to go?
Yes, we're good to go.
Okay.
Was it a problem with the microphone or the headphones?
It switched the audio output.
That's usually what happens to me, especially if there's been a Windows update. Well, you made it in time. We actually were live, but we haven't actually started the show.
Wonderful.
So,
sorry about the delay, friends. Yeah. I read my calendar wrong.
It's fine, because we were going to do this on the 25th, but then you said you couldn't be there on the 25th. So I was like, all right, we'll do the 18th. And then I got a call from Jesse the other day who said he can't make it on the 18th and to just go ahead without him. So I asked EB to fill in. So it's going to be 3 of us today.
Perfect.
Now, some of the lists that we have here, I'm going to fade out the music. It's getting a little loud. Some of the lists here were written by EB, and one of them was written by me. It seemed maybe I shouldn't write lists. Every time I make a list, Jesse can't make it.
Cursed.
The last time I made a list, he was too sick to be here.
That's true.
If you remember,
oh no,
he was terribly
that was a great
sick.
List too.
I thank you. This one was a little more quickly put together, but before we get to any of that, let's go ahead and go over here to the List Critics Remastered screen and welcome in everybody. We are the List Critics. I have myself, obviously. We have EB Agent as our guest today.
Hello.
And of course, Elise is with us, as you guys hear.
Hello.
And we're going to start as we normally do. I can't say we always do. We normally do with Tumblr Getting Deep. It's actually called this time 45 hilariously clever Tumblr posts that showcase the best of online wit.
Oh, okay.
So, number 1, Harthurian here says, all right. Oh, moving windows around. There we go. So my dad is a college professor, and he just got alerted recently that in an effort to go paperless, the faculty is having their printers taken away. My dad My dad decided to take the opportunity and create a meme. So he goes proudly up to me and tells me, I created a meme. And lo and behold, and it shows a picture of a guy running from a cop, and he photoshopped a printer into the guy's hands. Like whatever he was carrying. It says, me running from my building with my office printer and paper after CSU decides to go paperless. My dad's first meme. He was so proud of it, he emailed it individually to other faculty, and nobody gave him any acknowledgement. He came into my room all sad. Please share so to give my father the meme support he deserves.
No, that's not fair.
Oh, they were probably afraid they were going to get in trouble or something, you know?
Yeah.
Academia. Bah.
Hold on, I gotta make Elise slightly louder here. Yeah, I have you mixed pretty low. Say something, Elise.
Say something.
Oh, that's a lot better. Say anything.
It's a real boy.
Number 2, Forgotten One says, I'll never understand why Disney is so focused on live-action remakes when they literally own the rights to the Muppets. I would take a Muppet remake of a Disney animation classic over a live-action remake all day, every day. And Magic and Moonlit Wing says, Muppet Beauty and the Beast, where the Beast is played by the only human actor and he turns into a Muppet at the end.
Yes.
I want that.
I want that too.
I want all the Muppet remakes.
Yes, I'm for this. And then C. Kerouac says, the Beast should be a conventionally attractive actor whom the Muppet townspeople continually call hideous until true love releases him from this curse and he shows true beauty, blue felt, and plastic eyes.
I love it. I want that. Make it happen. God damn it, Disney.
And then Miss Piggy marries him. Oh, you're pretty now.
I heard something talking about live-action Muppet movies. It said some actor did a good job because he treated the Muppets like other actors. And then in Muppet Treasure Island, they said it worked well because Tim Curry was treated like a Muppet.
Yes, it's Muppet Christmas Carol that they're talking about for the first one.
Yeah.
Number 3, Kay Vitoya says, even if you don't like Halloween, you have to appreciate its position as the sole thing keeping Christmas from advancing even earlier into the year like a cancerous growth. And Vox Machina says, the goth kids hold the line. They really do. And we thank you for your service, goth kids.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't need Christmas in July. Hey, I'm bored. Talk to me says, I'll have y'all know that my favorite figure skater's parents told her that to get a dog, she'd have to do well at the Olympics, and she went and won the frickin' Olympics when she was 15. I want a dog. Her mom and dad, yes, sweetie, do well at the Olympics and we'll see. Alina Zagatova, okay. And then a bunch of pictures of her figure skating and holding up her gold medal.
And I hope she got her puppy.
Well, it continues. So one of the names here is redacted, but it says, did she get that well-deserved dog she wanted? And then the original poster says, I don't know if her parents got her one, but the fucking president of Japan gave her one to her when he found out that she wanted one.
Oh,
that's delightful.
Yeah. And then Darrett the Scarlet Pescatarian says, this teen to her parents every single day. Bye, I'm off to walk my presidentially ordained victory dog. It's a little chow chow too.
Aw.
Adorable.
Number 5, Loch Nessie says, can we as millennials and Gen Zs collectively agree that nobody cares about elbows on the table? Like, why was it ever a problem for anyone? We can chill, right? We've seen this one not too long ago. And inside a chrysalis writhing says, but chewing your mouth with your mouth open is still gross and bad. Keep that locked up. You know, when I was a kid, I was always told to don't put your elbows on the table, and I'm 43, and I still don't know why.
I was never told that, so
Yeah. I
knew other kids were.
The first time I saw this on Tumblr, and we were doing list critics, and I asked my mom afterwards, I said, why was that a problem? And she says, because of manners, and I'm like, okay, but why? Like when you put your elbow on the table, like, why is that bad manners? And she's like, I don't fucking know. Like if you don't know, then then it's a stupid thing, you know.
I think it's what my parents agreed to, that they don't know what it's for, so don't bother.
So a quick internet search tells me that because it could invade your neighbor's space and possibly jostle plates, glasses, or silverware. So it's basically taking up too much room.
I mean, when I was a kid, there was 4 of us and 4 sides to the table, so it was never an issue.
Yeah.
You know. All right.
Same.
Number 6, I am not Lanuk says, my old person trait is that I think a website should work like in a web browser and not try to open an app.
Amen.
I agree. And Professor's Pet says, my old person trait is that I think video games should work without needing to access the internet.
Amen.
Another amen. And then the Pariah Continuum says, my old person trait is that I think when I purchase a product that it should be complete and functional, and also that I should actually own it. Another
That's what I was going to say.
Another amen.
And then Breland Walker says, my old person trait is that I think I should be able to talk to an actual person in order to resolve issues with my bills without waiting on hold for 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. These are all very good old person traits.
I found that when you're on the horn with those robots that try to talk to you, if you start babbling complete fucking nonsense, they tend to get you a person pretty quickly.
I just start shouting obscenities because that is almost certainly a one-way ticket to talk to a human.
Yeah, like my mother just tries to go representative over and over again, but I just go that usually works.
Yeah.
Number 7, M Brain Spaz says, I really enjoy existing in hotels. The long identical hallways, the soulless abstract art, the weird noises the air conditioner makes, strange city lights in the window, 6 stories off the ground, strangers chatting in the hall, nothing in the dresser, no past, but an infinite present. And then Sushi in Food says, finally, someone understands. I mean, hotels do have a certain allure to them.
They do.
It's a nice kind of liminal space sort of thing.
Yeah, look, like exactly with it. Infinite present. No past. Not much of a future either. All right, number 8, Radishant says, which one of you was going to tell me that tea tastes different if you put it in hot water? And then Mothman Masato says, you were putting it in cold water? And then Boing Frog says, Radish. Answer the question, Radish. And then Radishan says, yeah, I thought for like 5 years that people just put it in hot water to speed up the teification process and didn't realize there was an actual reason.
Oh my god.
And then and then Boing Fark says, hashtag, you think I have the patience to boil water? What the fuck? You don't have the patience to microwave water for 3 minutes? And then Cats in Raincoat says, ID, tags reading, you think I have the patience to boil water? What the fuck? What are you putting it in the mic? Why are you putting it in the microwave to boil it? And then Boing Frog says, do you think I have the patience to boil water on the stove? And then Cats in Raincoat says, it takes less than a minute. And then Boing Frog says, and the text is getting really bigger with each reply, by the way, so it's starting to get very big. Bestie, is your stovetop powered by the fucking sun? And then Cats in Raincoat says, for very big text, how long does it take you to boil a cup of water on the stove? And then Boing Frog says, like 7 minutes. And then Cats in Raincoat, this is still going. Cats in Raincoat says, just stick the mug on top of the stove on medium heat and it boils in like 2 minutes. Less than that is you use a saucepan. And then Boing Frog says, crying. You're putting the what the fuck, right? You're putting the whole mug on the stove on medium heat. Your stove is enchanted. And then P-Doop says, every single person in this post is a fucking lunatic. Oh, hey, Ross. And Ross says there's a YouTube short that voiced out this exact discussion. And then this is the last one. Cats Fish of Fold in 99 Color says, do none of you own a fucking kettle? We're not starting the kettle discourse again. I can't stand that.
Answer is no, I don't. But, you know. Yeah.
There was a whole thing like years ago where like every fucking person in Europe is like, why don't Americans own kettles? And out of nowhere, I get a text from Barrel on like, this is before Discord. It was like on Steam. And he's like, is it true Americans don't have kettles? And I said, I'm really not prepared to have this conversation right now. Why would I need a fucking kettle?
Ask most Europeans why they don't own a coffee maker.
Yeah. The fucked up thing is I do have a kettle. I just didn't want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9 shows a Photoshop of a T-Rex on D-Day. And, yeah. Southern side of me says historical footage of the last T-Rex serving his country it's World War One in World War One, and then Atlas PT says, but isn't that a Jeep? And the T-Rex is holding a Browning M2, which wasn't used until 1933. So I think this footage is actually of World War II. That's what you notice, not the dinosaur. Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, number 10. Alexi Harrow says, having been told that it's rude to call dinner gross, our 4-year-old is finding increasingly creative ways to express himself, such as, this tastes unlucky to me. This sends my mouth into outer space, and in parentheses, that is bad. Cauliflower is, pinch his fingers together, this much delicious. And then Transenbihala says, you told your toddler not to be rude, so now he's developing an incredible skill with sick fucking burns.
Nice.
Electric kettles are convenient. It gets my hair up, Alice, when people from other countries get mad at you for not doing the same exact thing that they do. It's like, if you're going to get mad at the United States for not doing something, why not have it be something that actually fucking matters?
The list I submitted that I didn't write is more or less about that.
Yeah. Number 11, Love Me, Don Lothario says, if you're a game designer and you force me to kill wolves and you have them make sad puppy noises, I'm killing you. And then Fio Hasdid says, see, this never happens in Spider Solitaire for Windows.
Okay, that one got me.
Yeah, until you get the new DLC, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is number 12, I Hate Chick-fil-A posts a tweet from Jave Young White that says, why do paintings of people centuries ago never show pimples? You're telling me these people who drank shit water and took baths 2 times a decade had clear skin? And then Survivably So says they had the most amazing filter called I'm the One Paying You. It's true. It's true. I've seen a lot of
Quite
these
true.
before. Number 13, Beyonce's cock. Somebody has that name on Twitter. I'm sorry, on Tumblr. So just pointing out, somebody got the much coveted Beyonce's cock name on Tumblr. Posts a tweet from somebody named Jake who says, I remember the first time I asked my dad to sign something for me in high school. He shook his head and said, if I sign this, you're going to have to learn how to forge my signature. If you sign it from the start, you'll have to be able to sign whatever you want, and they'll never know. And he says, I don't know whether to award him Dad of the Year or not. Nice. Number 14 starts with a tweet from Matt Johnson, who writes, my insulin fell out of the fridge and my kid put it back in the freezer by mistake, thereby destroyed, and insurance won't replace it, so that's $800, which luckily I have, because if I didn't, I'd simply die, which is what happened to one of my students, so time to get to work. And then Concepta Decency says, just a reminder that Frederick Banting, discoverer of the process to synthesize insulin, sold the patent for $1 because it was so important to him to be widely available and easily mass-produced. Yes, you should be angry.
Yeah.
So angry. Urge to kill rising. Number 15, the Meme Daddy, somebody has that name, says, in 20 years, you won't remember the time your kids didn't finish their dinner, but they'll remember how you freaked out and yelled about it. And then, it's very true. I've been on this site too long, says, last year I was talking with my mom about parenting, and she said, well, at least I never made you feel like I didn't love you. I proceeded to tell her about a time when I was a kid. She was yelling, screaming, and throwing things, and I said, I love you in that small, timid kid voice, and she said, well, I don't love you right now. Our relationship was never the same after that, and she didn't even remember that it happened. And HST 3000, who has all the pith, says, the axe forgets, the tree remembers. And Celestial Yearning says, you remember that? It was a formative experience in my life. For you, it was a Tuesday. So he takes the edge off when you can quote the Street Fighter movie.
Indeed. I'm laughing because my childhood would suck.
I know. You're like, yeah, relatable.
Yeah.
Mood. Number 16, Manat says, a girl's voice in a game... I've seen this one. We've had this on List Critic like 5 times, and it never gets old. A girl's voice in game chat is more powerful than any U.S. Marine. And Did You Get Mysterious Images says, fun story, maybe. When I was younger, my brother was super duper into Call of Duty, and he's actually really freaking good at it. So one day he gave me his mic headset and told me to talk while he was playing, and it was wild. The levels of salt that young men produce when under the impression that a little girl is destroying them in Call of Duty is a beautiful thing.
Wonderful.
It reminds me of June had a story of not Call of Duty, but I think it was Day of Defeat, where this girl was on there and she was really good at the game, and this one salty guy said something like, how many times are you going to shoot me, bitch? And she just very properly says, as many times as I see you. Number 17, Candy Garnet says, can they please make a dishwasher with a transparent door? I want to see what's going on in there. Washing machine, open, honest, shows you how it's cleaning your clothes. Dishwasher, mysterious, untrustworthy, keeps its cleaning methods a secret. It sounds interesting, but I'm pretty sure it's just fucking spraying water everywhere.
Yeah.
Number 18 comes from White People Twitter, who shows a tweet from something called Tired Elementary Teacher, says, anyone who thinks children will socially distance at school has never met children. And then Friska Freak writes, anyone who thinks children won't purposefully lick their hands and chase each other yelling, Corona, has never met children.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happened or, whatnot. I know as a kid, when I was growing up, that absolutely would have happened.
Oh, yeah.
I think kids today might be a little more with it, though. Number 19, Erarg. So writes, sitcom where people gradually get killed off and their spot in the opening title theme is replaced with dead silence. And then Peel a Potato with a Potato writes, I'd like to question your definition of sitcom. Yeah, there's not often that characters get killed off in a sitcom, right?
Now I'm reminded of Too Many Cooks.
God, that was brilliant.
I had stopped watching TV then, but I couldn't sleep. So I turned on Adult Swim, and it happened to be the night that debuted.
And were you like, when is this going to begin?
At first I was, and then I was like, oh god, here's the joke.
Yeah, you're like, wait, okay, I get it. Because it keeps going and going.
And then people start dying.
Number 20, Pax America posts a tweet from Amanda Swith who says, the face of a cat who has been coming to Coors Field regularly since March 2020 and just showed up to the stadium with a crowd in it for the first time, and shows this very, very surprised and dismayed looking cat. No. And Princess Columbia says, you come into my house? Yeah, just 20,000 intruders, right? Number 21, Chizo writes, there's no difference between exercise and black magic. Both of them hurt your body at first and drain you of energy, but the more you dabble in it, the more powerful you become. Wow. And Varda-esque writes, that's the most inspiring thing I've ever read.
I mean, true.
I mean, I can't argue with it. It's true, yeah. Number 22, Ben C. says, things I hate, transphobes, institutionalized racism, and banana strings. And Mahi, that one got me. Yeah. Mahi 713 writes, if you peel the banana from the bottom, you will not get the strings. And then the original poster writes, brilliant. Do you have solutions for the other two?
Oh, God.
Just start peeling things from the bottom and we'll fix it, right?
Yeah.
Number 23, Ding Dong, You Are Wrong, writes, honestly, if teleporters ever got invented during my lifetime, I would be one of the most annoying analog boomer about it. My grandkids would be like, oh, Grandma, why don't you just take a teleporter trip and come visit us? We do it all the time and it's obviously safe. And I would be like, absolutely not. It kills you and reconstitutes a copy with your exact memories. You are consciously my grandchildren, and I do not hold it against you, but I know in my heart that you are nothing but copies of copies of copies born out of irresponsible technology use. I am not touching that devil's elevator as long as I live. I will take an airplane, and you will wait for several hours it takes me to come visit you. I gotta be honest, I agree. If teleporters were a thing, I would not trust it.
Yeah.
How do you know that it's not a cloning machine?
I've seen The Fly.
Yeah, Alice says, what if the power runs out mid-teleport? You ever read that Stephen King story, The Jaunt? That
I
happens.
was just thinking of that.
That's what happens. You're trapped in a limbo for billions of years, and then you come out the other side a second later, and you go insane and die.
No.
Number 24, Necklace of Rope says, so today this girl in my class asked what the word procrastination meant, and I said, can I explain that later? And my teacher laughed for like 5 minutes, and when he stopped, the girl whispered, I don't get it. Nice. Oh, man. That's like telling people that the word gullible is not in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Star Trek the Motion Picture, as Ross pointed out, did have the transporter accident. They didn't show you what happened, but they described it. It wasn't good. Number 25, Penny Paperbrain posts a tweet from Monkey, who says, I've had enough of hippo propaganda. Stop slandering sharks. And it just posts this meme that just talks about how sharks are portrayed as vicious killers, but they're actually... pretty docile, whereas hippos are portrayed as cute, and they're pretty fucking terrifying. Much as I adore hippos, this is undeniably just. And then pro-human agenda writes, relatable. Okay. Number 26, Science of Noise says, Time Traveler from 1919. You have a day where you honor our struggles in the Great War, the war to end all wars? You mean World War I? Oh, shit. They did call it the war to end all wars, and then you say World War I, and they're like, "Oh, there was a sequel." And the sequel's always worse than the original. Number 27, Spin Dash writes, "Came out of my dad's printer at work today, and then just shows this picture of this guy dressed as the Pope, smiling and with his hands up, and it says, "Hi. If you're reading this message, it's highly likely that your printer is exposed to the public internet via port forwarding. This means that anyone on the internet with some technical knowledge can send print jobs to your printer, or worse, try to exploit it and use it as a part of a global botnet. If you didn't intend for this, please look into disabling UPnP, Universal Plug and Play, on your router, or remove the port forwarding rule from the port 9100. A friendly catgirl hacker."
Nice.
The white hat hackers strike again, huh?
Love a white hat.
Yeah,
The trans cat girls that run the internet.
it's true. Number 28, Till That. I used to call it Till Tat just to be funny, but it's Today I Learned That. Today I learned that because of a mistranslation, Jimmy Carter told Polish people in 1977 that he desired them carnally and that he had left the United States to never return.
I've heard that
And
one
then
before.
Post Marx writes, "Imagine being a Polish citizen and you hear this American president says he's here to fuck you and he's not leaving." Wow. Woo. Number 29. This is names redacted. This is, "When my brother turned 18, he threw out his favorite anime body pillow that he was super attached to. And when I asked him why, he said, 'Don't you know she's 16? This isn't legal anymore.' Some of you freaks on here could learn a thing or two from him." And then I Know Sunshine writes, "Lawful evil." Bro, what? This isn't legal. That's the... Oh, that
I
is...
just find myself stammering over words for that one.
That is blurst.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
I want to know how
absolutely it.
he got an anime body pillow before he turned 18.
I
Somebody
mean,
buy it for him?
you just click the I am 18 thing on the internet and you're good to go. Kids have
I was
PayPal.
thinking more like in terms of money and being able to access and stuff.
No, kids have PayPal,
That's debit cards now, man.
Yeah.
The future is wild.
Number 30, Lore Weaver Universe writes, "One of my favorite tidbits about Oblivion is that when Bethesda brought Patrick Stewart in to play Uriel Septim, they gave him this big 90-page booklet detailing the character's history and background and motivations, and they were really worried they'd gone overboard and given him too much. Meanwhile, Stewart was delighted. He said that it was the best character prep he'd ever been given, that he wished more people would do that." And then Corsai Resic says, "It's worth noting that this character dies in the tutorial." And yet Jim Cummings was just told, "You're on fire, go."
Yeah. So if you're on fire and you're falling from Jupiter and you're somehow freezing to death at the same time.
Yeah, go. And they really respected Patrick Stewart, huh? Number 31, Sky Guy here writes, "Boyfriend texted me, 'My love, I am intoxicated.' And then 5 minutes later, his best friend sends me a photo of him, passed out, phone in hand, and zoomed in one of my selfies."
Aw.
That's cute. And then Padoop replies with Gomez Adams. "I am intoxicated, my love." Number 32, Nasfera2 says, "I wish Americans fucked with more foreign music. You don't have to know the language to appreciate a good record. Folks in other countries listen to our music and don't speak a lick of English. Music needs no translator." And then Lil Timmy's writes, "Y'all won't trick me into listening to K-pop." That's fair.
That's valid.
Number 33, I was today years old when says, "Learned that astronauts Mark Lee and Jan Davis married in secret 9 months before the joint flight to the ISS and didn't tell NASA until it was too late to train replacements. They are the only married couple to have ever flown in space together." I wonder if they joined the 10 Mile High Club.
Yeah. I was thinking if they're the first married couple to go into space together, that implies that there's a married couple that went up not together.
That is true. That is very true. Number 34 just posts pictures of 3 different characters from 3 different CGI movies. And Bromancer says, "Look at this and just try and tell me all these women don't look exactly the same. Try and tell me that Disney isn't lazy when it comes to creating women." And then Cass J. Tuck writes, "Wow, 2 sisters and their mom. You're right. Why on earth would they look the same?" It would be helpful if I knew who the characters were. So
I've seen that before. It's the women from Frozen.
I thought it might have been
Elsa
Frozen.
and their mother.
Okay. I thought it might have been. Number 35, Fart Gallery writes, "If any of you happen to be rich and generous, please buy me a hot air balloon and a fog machine. In return, I'll give you this picture." And it's like a picture of a flamingo with sunglasses that they drew. And it says,
Perfect
please.
currency for me.
Yeah. And it says, please do not just right click and save the picture. We're working on the honor system here. And then Fart Gallery responds to themselves years later to say, I can't believe I predicted NFTs. Nice. Alice said NFTs, yeah.
Yes.
36. Hun Harry. Well, okay, so there's a very math joke showing this guy doing like all these different hand motions, like a little dance with these equations. And Han Hanny writes, I feel educated. And Eternal Winter Night says, where was I when I was in calculus? If I knew calculus, I would probably get it, but I don't.
I do know calculus, but I cannot see it.
I'll put it on the screen. I tapped out of it after trigonometry. I was like, that was good. I'm good. You know what I mean?
I never got much past algebra.
I enjoyed algebra. I enjoyed trig. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm mathed out. I'm good. There it is, at least.
I was constantly having to retake math classes.
Oh, there's that. Okay, I get it. So that is basically the way this person's. I'm going to explain the joke. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The way that person's arms are moving shows how those equations are mapped on an XY coordinate plane.
I thought that might be it, but I wasn't entirely sure. All right, number 37, Tallahassee MP3 says, say what you want about Reddit, but the fact that it lets you sort by controversial so you can see people fighting each other is a perfect feature. I mean, they should just call it World Star, though.
Yeah.
Number 38, All right, this asshole says, someone, what are you planning to do after college? Me. And it shows these on a picture of a store shelf with these containers that say things and etc. And stuff. There's one that says stuff.
Delightful.
Number 39, That's Believable posts an old newspaper clipping, and it says, the best gorilla joke of 1897. Gorilla. Did you hear about the gorilla who escaped from the zoo? Zookeeper. No, I did not. That's because I am a quiet gorilla. Muffled sounds of gorilla violence.
Gorilla violence?
Oh, that got me. I didn't expect that.
Damn, 1800s gorilla joke getting me like 100 plus years in the future.
And Angel number 27 writes, the people in 1897 were mentally in 2030. The real, they're 6 years ahead of us. Number 40, Monocam says, my first attempt at a creepypasta, beginner here, go easy on me. Carpeted kitchen.
Ooh. Oh no.
And then Argumate says, what the fuck? Oof. All right, number 41. Cephalotod says, good intrusive thoughts. I know you all get your entire scientific education off random Tumblr posts, but please, for the love of God, read even just one psych paper, I'm begging. Or even just take an English class. Intrusive means you don't want them. They're unwelcome. They can never be fun or quirky or funny because by definition they are unsettling, unwelcome, and intrusive. Jesus fucking Christ. And then Morwich says, maybe there should be an alternate term for thoughts that randomly show up in your mind but are actually good. I don't know what they'd be called, but who knows? And then Party Chris says, they're called thoughts. And then, I'm not saying this person's name because there's a slur in it, but some other person says, I don't usually ask astrology questions, but I wonder, why do I always catch myself having conversations in my head? Is it because I'm a Virgo? I talk to myself about literally everything, and sometimes it's suffocating. And then Astrala Cherry says, it's called thinking. People got to complicate things, huh?
I was seeing earlier somebody's one of those people that have absolutely no inner monologue.
Yeah,
you mean me? I don't have one.
I have like
it's dead silent up there.
I have like an inner trialogue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean three different voices interacting. I mean three trains of thought going at the same time, and it can be overwhelming, but that's just the way my brain works.
Yeah, when you partner the no inner monologue with the aphantasia, it is no wonder that I have like nothing going on up there a lot of the time.
I think this person said they had that too.
There you go. Maybe it's common.
It's nice and peaceful.
Number 42, Frog MP3 says, Europeans are so funny, literally like, I can't believe Americans don't have fresh bread. What the fuck are you talking about? And then Lassimus says, I can't believe Americans think store-bought sliced bread is real bread. And Frog MP3 says, there are bakeries in the United States. I'm not going to argue with a motherfucker about bread. Yeah, does Europe think they have a monopoly on baked goods? There's bakeries everywhere
cleared
here.
up a little bit in the list, one of the lists that I submitted.
Oh, okay, cool. Because we definitely have bakeries. You can get fresh bread.
It exists.
Yeah.
I promise.
As a matter of fact, some of us make our own bread at home for fun.
Bread. Love bread.
I used to work in a bakery.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you had a job at a bakery, and you were good at it from what you've told me.
Yes.
All right, number 43, Bartleby says, putting a different country's flag on my lawn to make it harder for GeoGuessr players to guess where they are. And then post irony posts a picture of a very confused looking person. It just says lawn, United States.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Number 44, Indie City says, my local rock station. You're listening to rock. Fucking rock. We're hard as shit. All the other stations are wimpy little snowflakes for not playing rock like we do. Hard rock. Rock and metal and fucking rock. Up next is 21 Pilots, followed by Imagine Dragons. That's basically the dwarf FM joke, isn't it? You know, we only play rock, metal, and stone.
I wonder if that set up the
dwarf thing.
The dwarf, because rephrase. The ending of the joke being plays
Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
Has a bit of a history to it. So I'm wondering if this is like the progenitor to it.
It might be. So I remember because we did that on List Critics and we were all cracking up, and somebody in chat said something like, some people make videos of it, and I said I should do one, and you were like, oh yes, you should. And believe it or not, it was actually like a few days later when I recorded the voice for that. And I recorded like 3 different voices, and I sent them to EB, and I said, you tell me which one is the funniest one. And we both agreed that the choice number 2, where it was like the Scottish dwarf, was the best one. Because I did one that was like Ogren from Dragon Age. It was like, you're listening to, like that. And then I did this one, you're listening to. And then I did one that was like a mix between the two. So we went with that. And then I had it like fucking sitting on my desktop for like a month and a half, and I forgot about it. And the day that I showed you the video was I made it that day. It didn't take me 6 weeks to make it. I just forgot about the joke for 6 weeks.
Hey, sometimes you just get inspired later.
No, it's not that I lost inspiration. It's just that I literally...
the inspiration to edit.
I forgot about it is what happened. And I was cleaning off the 40 million things on my desktop, and I saw the MP3, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to do this. And it only took me like 20 minutes to make because it's a 30-second video.
So good, though.
Did you like the image?
Yes.
I have like an AI image generator on my phone, and it's very difficult to work with, right? But I just put in like red-headed dwarf screaming into a microphone in a radio station, and that was the very first image that it gave me. I was like, holy shit, that's fucking perfect. I don't want to know. He didn't have 3 arms, so it worked out, This is the last one. Number 45, Jader Sage says, which would you rather find in your living room which would you rather find living in your attic? 1,000 roaches or a person? And then Suburban Justice says, this is truly on God, the first would you rather that I have had to devote significant thought to. Neither of these answers feels good. I'm going to go with the roaches.
I'm going to go with the person.
Yeah, I think I'm team person.
I'm saying roaches. You know what? You could deal with the roaches. You're like, why are there roaches in my attic? Oh, I don't know, because that's what they fucking do. You call an exterminator, you get rid of the bitches. You find a person living up there, there's going to be some questions.
Yeah, but they can be answered at
1,000 roaches is a lot of roaches, though. Like, if it were maybe 5 roaches, hands down, it's roaches.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot. But like I say, you call the exterminator, and they'll get rid of the 1,000 roaches.
Yeah, and you call the police, and in theory, they'll get rid of the person in your attic.
Yeah, until they show up and tell you that they've got squatters' rights,
Yeah.
Right. I'm just thinking of it as like Bart's evil twin from The Simpsons, and it turned out that Bart himself was the evil twin. Out of 45, I will be honest, there were a lot of blasts from the past in here, but I'm just going sheerly on Quality, I'm going to say a 30 out of 45.
I'm going to say, for me, based on whether or not it made me laugh, I'm going to go with about a 35.
Yeah, I'll say about 35, 36 sounds good.
Okay, there we go. I also have another one from Pleated Jeans. 21 people share the biggest mistakes they've made during job interviews. So this is going to be fun. So number one, Green Dinos here writes, did not prepare for what are 3 things you can improve on skill-wise question. Job was to work with disabled kids. I said I can improve my patience, not my timeliness, not my communication, not my team-building skills, patience. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And not the wrong. You got to tailor the answer for what you're applying for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, number 2, OK Discussion 5263 writes, I answered a question about my biggest weakness by saying I work too hard. Classic cliche, and it sounded insincere. They knew. I knew. Awkward silence followed. Didn't get the job. Honestly, questions like that, I would just say I have a complete lack of patience for questions like that. That's my biggest weakness. It's like my biggest weakness is I don't answer stupid questions. Number 3, Independent Bike says their initial offer was $25K more than I was asking for, and I accepted it without any counter offer. That's bad?
I guess what they mean is that you could have asked for upwards of 1 Sega tape.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, but $25K more than what you're making is pretty significant.
Right, but I guess one of the things that I guess they're trying to say is that maybe they didn't ask what that person was making, because you don't have to answer that question. So if they think that your baseline, the lowest that they're trying to get you for, is $25,000 more than you're all making in the present, you can ask for more than $25,000.
I guess so. Number 4, Magnifying Charms says, not exactly a mistake, but I went to the counter of the store and asked if they were hiring. They said they were and gave me an on-the-spot interview right there in the middle of the store with my mom standing right with me. I was 16, and she had given me a ride to the store. My mom proceeded to answer every question for me and kept talking me up. I ended up getting the job and worked there for over 2 years, so thanks, Mom. Lol. Personally, I wouldn't hire someone if their mom kept talking for them.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you need to work on your mom. She needs to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
There's a reason why they tell you not to use relatives as a reference.
Yeah. Number 5, Trichopsych says, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Owning my own business and not chained down to a dead-end job. Still hired, though. That's not a bad answer. Number 6, Implement OK here says, after the interviewer was finished asking questions, I said I had a few questions. She seemed surprised. So I asked if promotions are performance-based or are they based on likability. As soon as I finished, she said, I do not believe we are a fit. I would still not change my wording. I now have a job somewhere enjoyable, so everything worked out. Sounds like that person dodged a fucking bullet.
I know.
And honestly, that's definitely not that terrible of a question. I might have worded it slightly differently, but...
Yeah. Hell. Came from hell. I saw that in the chat. Number 7, Cockroach Theory. We were just talking about the Cockroach Theory here. Not asking them from my point of view the questions they ask me. Example, them. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Me. What opportunities for advancement, training, growth, pay increases are offered to new hires in their first 5 years? I do typically ask how the position became vacant. It's usually telling when your interviewer badmouths previous employees. If they don't say something avoiding and vague or tell you someone had a baby or some other reason for leaving and goes right into how bad the last person was, run, don't walk the fuck out of there. Agreed.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah. Number 8, Octuple Whopper. Octuple Whopper. Damn. Writes, my worst, I think, noticing the job description they handed me on paper was $1 an hour less than the one they advertised online. I asked about that and shouldn't have said anything. Why not? You should say something about that. Another bad one in 2005. Forgot to turn off my phone ringer and got some automatic texts and just ignored them, embarrassed. Also, not a big deal. I mean, you don't want your phone to go off. But if you're getting text messages and you're not answering it because you're giving that person your full attention, I don't see that as being a problem. Number 9, Cute Flower says, the boss agreed to the first salary I suggested for myself, so I took that to mean I should have asked for more. You're not going to know that, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
a hit or miss kind of one. If you throw out a number and they go, yeah, cool, then yeah, cool, right? Number 10, Snow Mist here says, when I was younger and thinking the tell me about yourself question meant they genuinely cared about your personal life. Nobody cares about your personal life at a job site. Yeah. Number 11, Megabyte Project writes, I showed up 15 minutes early one time and the hiring manager was really upset by this. Why would they be upset by that?
No, that's good praxis, man. What the fuck?
Bullet dodged.
Yeah.
Number 12, Coconut Queen here says, interviewed at a bank, was going perfectly despite how nervous I was, and I was probably in it with great chance. Then, as a final question, the panel asked me, why should we hire you? And I word vomit replied, because I probably won't steal your money. I was not hired.
Oh, no.
Probably.
Yeah. That's great. That's like if a cop pulls you over for like some like speeding thing or something, you're like, I didn't have anything to do with that robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Christ.
Number 13, Dave220 says, went for an interview at a local movie rental store. This must be old. Completely blanked when I was asked what movies I've watched recently. Ended up throwing out Cheech and Chong after a way too long and awkward delay, and then nervously acted like a stoner. Man, I watched Up in Smoke like a year ago or something, man. Dave's not here, man. And the guy's name was Dave. It's kind of perfect. Number 14, Sean here writes, not an interview, but in high school, 2016, I think I got auto-rejected from a clothes retailer. I want to say it was because I put strongly disagree to I'm a people person. Didn't make that mistake again when I started applying for actually important jobs. That's funny. Number 15, Grimy Scorpio Duffman writes, I didn't do my research and didn't realize one of the main people I'd be interviewing was with a girl I'd hooked up with a few years prior.
Oh.
Well, it depends on how good you were at that, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Is she happy to see you? Or is she like, oh, this motherfucker? Number 16, Smokey Vic writes, to illustrate my excellent attention to detail I mentioned, I had noticed a spelling error in their job ad. Never heard back. I don't wonder why. Fair enough. Number 17, Ranny Phoenix writes, at the end of the interview, I jokingly said, so, when do I start? That was a terrible, terrible decision. At least I'm having a hard time hearing you. There's a lot of distortion when you speak.
It's, you know what? It's probably my air conditioner.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can turn that off.
Well, don't suffer because of this. Just maybe if it could be, I don't know if it's possible to angle it away from the microphone or something.
Let's see. Fortunately, it's like right behind. Is this any better?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay, cool. I just kind of moved it around.
Yeah. Hey, Almighty Santa. Number 18, Island Simeon says, went negative and badmouth my current at-the-time company. Apparently that's a huge no-no. You should always make it sound like you want to go to the new company and not escape a bad one.
Yeah, I've unfortunately done that one before, but it was kind of a dire straits sort of situation.
I've done that too, so yeah. Number 19, Long Jumping Event 59 says, accepting the job when they offered it right on the spot. I didn't know it at the time, but that's usually not a good sign. They're usually either desperate or the job is just sucks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get an offer on the spot, it usually means that it's a bad place. A really, really bad place. Number 20, the person's name is censored. It says, the manager had a picture of a naked mole rat on his desktop, and I said, gross. He then told me it was his pet. As a rule, you shouldn't say gross about any pictures on anybody's desk.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's not his pet, if he has a picture of a naked mole rat, probably means he likes them. And finally, number 21, Lovely Gaze here says, interviewing for a part-time job at Kmart as a summer gig in college. HR director. So everything looks good. If you ever need a job reference or a letter of recommendation, come see me at the end of your employment here, and we'll see what we can do. Me. Oh, that won't be necessary. I have references from real jobs already.
Oh.
I still got the job, but holy shit.
Oof.
Damn.
Cringe.
Alice, about the naked mole rat thing, Alice says, at least he didn't say it was his wife. That's my wife, you son of a bitch. Out of 21, I'll be honest, it was a little less entertaining than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to give it a 15.
I'm inclined to agree with that 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say 15 too.
I thought it was going to be better than it was. Okay, so I have a list that I wrote. I don't do this often, but I did do it. The last time that I wrote a list was I chose my game of the year for every year that I had been alive since from 1980 to 2024. Well, 2023 really, because 2024 is not over yet. I wanted to do it with music, my album of the year for every year, but I decided to cut it off at 2020 because I realized I don't really have a lot of good choices for the past few years, just based on not having heard a lot. But anyway, before I start this, does anybody want to guess what group or band or singer or whatever would be the most represented here for album of the year?
Rush.
Yeah, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. Because the first three are all Rush.
Oh gosh, I haven't the foggiest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let myself be surprised.
Okay.
Or not.
Yeah. So
Say-
Rush is pretty. It's correct actually.
Rush, Arion, or possibly Pink Floyd.
Well, the thing is, Pink Floyd's albums pretty much all came out. But there's only one on here. Most of them came out before I was born. And Arion doesn't have that many. They're on here, though. They're definitely on here. Dream Theater is another good guess. So 1980, I chose Permanent Waves by Rush. And if I lean to the side, you can see the Permanent Waves, the anniversary edition that Alice got me sitting there. Definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. For 1981, I chose Moving Pictures by Rush. It's just as good as Permanent Waves, if not maybe slightly better, depending on who you ask. And then in 1982, I chose Signals by Rush. I did not want to put them 3 times in a row, but this is kind of their golden era.
But here we are, and here they are.
And by the way, I wanted to say that I didn't choose this based on anything other than like what my feeling was when I wrote the list. I didn't try to go into any sort of historical things, because your favorite album of a year may change. And it, especially with, the 90s and the 2000s, what I was listening to then and what I listen to now are different. So I'm basing it on what I feel now. Okay. For 1983, I chose Synchronicity from The Police.
Oh, great album.
Fucking classic. If you can sit there and think of 10 songs by The Police, probably around 6 of them are from this album.
Oh, yeah.
1984, I chose Grace Under Pressure from Rush. See, EB knows me pretty well here, and my musical taste here. 1985, I chose Misplaced Childhood from Marillion, which is the first, and not the last, but the first concept album on here. I do really like an album that tells a story. I mean, honestly, if you listen to Misplaced Childhood, it is basically 2 long songs. It's not, but there's only one pause in the whole thing. From 1986, I chose Master of Puppets by Metallica, which
nice.
That's the year I was born.
There you go.
Same.
I had a discussion with a certain dumbass once, where I guess the discussion was what song would be played at your funeral, because, I don't know, she was into that kind of morbid shit. And she guessed that Master of Puppets by Metallica would be the song that would be played at my funeral. And I said, why would I have a song about cocaine played at my funeral?
Are you planning to develop a coke addiction?
Yeah, what are you implying here? And she's just like, I didn't know what it was about. And I'm like, you don't know you couldn't figure it out from the phrase "chop my breakfast on a mirror"?
She never knew what any song was about.
Yeah, this is before we knew that, though, about how she basically had no media literacy whatsoever.
Which I do have a song picked out that I'd want played at my funeral.
And would it be Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through?
Actually, no.
No, what would it be?
It would be Disturbed's cover of Sound of Silence.
Ah, nice. That's a good one. Oh, and by the way, I did decide when I was making this that these there are no live albums, there are no compilations, re-releases, or collections of covers on there.
That seems fair.
Yeah. 1987 is A Momentary Lapse of Reason by Pink Floyd. Love it.
Good one.
I mean, they're pretty much like my other favorite band along with Rush, so, you know. I was glad that I was able to get them. It's the only Pink Floyd album on the list. I was glad I was able to get them on there because, you know, most of their albums came out in the 60s and 70s. 1988 is Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche, which you cannot bring out without saying, Queensryche is blasting, what's going on? Which EB obviously gets it. For anyone who doesn't, there was a situation where I was playing Hexen, and I didn't know that if you had a CD in the drive while playing Hexen, it would just start playing that instead of the game soundtrack.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I
start
hearing Operation Mindcrime, and I'm like, where is that coming from? Why is it playing? What is going on?
You like seriously thought they'd put that in as the soundtrack?
I knew it wasn't. I was like, why is that playing? You know, number 1989. I chose Full Moon Fever by Tom Petty.
That's a great one.
Not the only Tom Petty album on here, but one of his best for sure. For 1990, I chose Rust in Peace by Megadeth. It was actually a difficult choice for 1990. There was nothing that really jutted out to me other than Rust in Peace, but there were a bunch of them, and I was like, well, it could be that, or it could be that, you know. Number 1991, I chose 10 by Pearl Jam. This was it was a big part of my childhood. Big part of my childhood. I remember, like, because I didn't have the album, but my mom had the album, right? And she was playing it one day, and it was like she had bought it, and it was like the second day she had the album, and she was playing it, and then the song Garden was playing, and I was singing along with it, and she's like, "It's like the second time I've played this album. How are you singing along?" I was like, "I don't know. It's
that good."
It just clicked, you know. I gotta stop saying number. It's just force of habit. 1992, I chose Images and Words by Dream Theater. Now, I just want to say that this is actually, I consider it to be one of their weaker albums, but it was just still the best album of 1992 in my opinion. 1993, and I know this will make EB very happy, because there is no other choice. I chose Bad Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell by Meatloaf.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not as big of a Meatloaf fan as EB, but I'm as big of a fan of this album as EB is. 1994, I chose The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails because of
great album.
I was an edgy teen at the time, and I'm not edgy anymore, but I still have a strong love for this album. Back then, I thought it was badass, and now I think it's beautiful, and that is art as far as I'm concerned. 1995, I chose The Final Experiment by Ayreon, the first Ayreon album. That's pretty... if you think about it, Pearl Jam and Ayreon having their first albums on here, that's pretty... that's pretty interesting, because usually the first album, you know, you're just learning and figuring out your sound, you know?
Right.
1996, I chose October Rust by Typo Negative.
Good album.
I play this album every Halloween. It is a tradition. I will never not do October Rust for Halloween music appreciation. This year,
I've said as much that Mr. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Explosion is a huge Typo fan, and I had never heard them before we started dating.
Oh, and you're goth as fuck.
Yeah. It just slipped. None of my friends were into them. It's so weird.
So when we do a music appreciation for the 28th of October, I will be playing this album. I chose that I'm not going to do just Typo Negative this year. I'm going to do Typo Negative and Ulver together, but it's still going to have... October Rust is a must for Halloween. You have to play it on Halloween. 1997, I chose Falling into Infinity from Dream Theater. Like, once again, not their strongest album, but still strong enough to win Album of the Year for me. I gotta stop saying number. 1998, I chose Into the Electric Castle from Ayreon. As many of you guys know, I'm friends with Arjen Lucassen, and he said once that he doesn't like to talk up his own stuff. He doesn't like to say that he has written a classic album or anything like that, because he's kind of very critical of his own work. But he says, Into the Electric Castle, though, that's a fucking classic album.
Nice.
And I agree. 1999, and this would be my pick of album of the decade for the 90s, by the way, is Scenes from a Memory by Dream Theater. It's
Very nice.
It's very much the feeling of a rock opera. Like you are hearing a story. It's all one voice, but you are really following. It's laid out like a play. The album art even is like a playbill on the inside with like a cast and all that shit. So, yeah. For 2000, I chose Brave New World by Iron Maiden. One of my favorites of them. It just kicks ass. You just start shaking your ass as soon as the first notes start playing, and you don't stop until your ass is jelly. For 2001, I chose Perdition City by Ulver. So Ulver had been around since the mid-90s. They started as a black metal band, but I didn't hear them until Perdition City came out. And this was my first experience hearing what we understand to be trip-hop. And June showed it to me. And it's like, check this out. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I've never heard music like that before, you know? And she said that they used to be a black metal album. And I'm like, I can't fathom that a black metal band would go so far from where they were into that. And now they're synth pop, you know? So they've done a lot of different things. They just released a new song today, which I posted on the Discord earlier. For 2002, and this is my pick for album of the year for the 2000s, is Up by Peter Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the best album I've ever heard. 2003 is Train of Thought by Dream Theater. It's like their heaviest album. It's really deeply personal and emotional. I got to see them live. The first time was on that. EB, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, because you're kind of wheezing.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just concerned because it's a distressing noise.
Oh, no, I think I was leaning against the microphone to put it too close to my mouth.
Oh, okay. Alice is correct. It's a cohesive album. It doesn't feel like a collection of songs. It feels like they all belong together. Number 2004 is The Human Equation by Arion. This is how I met Arion, actually, is because I wrote a review of this and sent it to him, and that's how we started talking. So that was pretty cool. It was not just a review. It was actually my top 10 albums of the year. And I sent it to him. I sent it to every artist that was on there, and he was one of them that replied. 2005, I chose Octavarium by Dream Theater. Another very cohesive album, too.
That's the first Dream Theater album I ever heard.
Wow, you started with Octavarium. That's so cool, actually. Because what was it like the first time you heard the song Octavarium?
You know, I feel like I was kind of set up for failure.
Yeah.
Because I did not have like the ideal listening conditions.
Oh, okay. You weren't set up for a 20-minute song.
No. We were driving.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We had to start and stop, and I'm like, man, this sounds great, but like I gotta go inside.
Yeah. Well, when the first 4 minutes is just synth, it's like.
Yeah.
2006, I chose A Matter of Life and Death by Iron Maiden. This, I think, is their best album. Number 2007, I chose Snakes and Arrows by Rush. The return of Rush!
Yay.
Hey.
Arion was starting to tie them.
Yeah.
So was Dream Theater, for that matter.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, 2008, my choice is 01011-001 by Arion, which is their darkest album by far. And the reason was because Arion was in a really bad place. He had a really bad sinus infection that actually destroyed his ability to taste food.
Wow.
Yeah, he destroyed his ability to taste food. He was in a really bad spot, and he wrote this really dark album. And he's never recovered from that, although he takes advantage of his inability to taste food by eating a really insanely healthy vegan diet. It's like, if I'm not going to taste it, I might as well eat healthy, right?
That's true.
Number, I gotta stop saying that. 2009, my pick is The Whirlwind by Transatlantic. So, you're kind of going right up my alley when you release an 80-minute album that is one song. And I saw them live on this tour, and it was the coolest fucking thing because not only did they play The Whirlwind, which is, like I said, an 80-minute song, but due to technical mishaps with Neil Morris's microphone during it, they had to extend it by another 20 minutes or so, because his microphone kept cutting out. And at one point, he just said, "Can I get a new mic?" And so the other three, Mike Portnoy and Roy Stolten and Pete Travawa, start jamming while the techs bring out microphone after microphone after microphone, none of which worked.
Oh, no.
And Neil Morris is getting increasingly frustrated, and just jamming with them. And at one point, Mike Portnoy says, "It's a small town, New York City. You can't get good equipment." They eventually got a microphone that worked, and he was able to sing his verse and continue. Because they all sing,
Yeah.
2010, and I've been saying which is my pick for the album of the decade, and for the 2010s, this is it right here. We're Here Because We're Here by Anathema. Anathema is another band that started off as like really heavy extreme metal, and now they're soft. And in all their soft albums, this is the best one, in my opinion. It's beautiful. There's no other word for it. I remember because I was still doing my yearly top 10 articles at that point, and I said this is the year where there's not a small gap between number 1 and number 2. There's a chasm between them.
Wow.
And as Ross pointed out, it was the album that helped him get through his mother's death. I did a music appreciation very shortly after Ross's mom passed, and I chose that album to play. And I said, you're going to want to listen to this. This is life affirming. And Ross was like in tears at the end, but in a good way, It's just a fucking, because it is about death, but it's about not viewing death as a bad thing.
Somebody on the Doll server has been using the nickname "We're Here Because We're Here" for a while.
I wonder if they're an Anathema fan.
I just asked that.
Yeah, let me know if they reply. Yeah, totally. 2011, I chose A Dramatic Turn of Events by Dream Theater. This was their first album without Mike Portnoy. And I thought it was a breath of fresh air. I'm actually quite dismayed that he's back in the band. 2012, Clockwork Angels by Rush. Their final album, unfortunately, but I think one of their best. A concept album so good that there was a novel that came out based off of it. So, nice. What else can you say? Plus, the novel also had 2 sequels.
That is impressive.
Yeah. 2013, I chose The Theory of Everything from Ayreon. It's not like my favorite Ayreon album. It's a lot of people's favorite. It's not my favorite, but 2013 was just kind of not an amazing year for music, I thought. So it was an easy pick to put that on there. For 2014, so 2014 I really struggled because nothing was jumping out to me, but I wound up going with Hypnotic Eye by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. The thing about Tom Petty is he didn't release any bad albums.
Yeah.
No, not a single one.
Yeah, so if you're struggling to pick album of the year and there's a Tom Petty record out, you might as well just go with that. 2015 is The Diary by The Gentle Storm. This is one of Arian's albums. And the concept of it was that it was 2 albums. And they both had the same songs. But one was the gentle and one was the storm. So it was the soft versions of the songs and the heavy versions of the songs.
I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And if you're wondering, I prefer the soft versions. He prefers the heavy versions.
They did something similar to that in Yuri on Ice. 2 of the skaters for their short program had essentially the same song, but they were different arrangements.
Yeah. 2016, The Astonishing by Dream Theater. A lot of people don't like this album. I was mildly obsessed with it for pretty much the entirety of 2016. I found myself singing it in a Wendy's at one point, so, it was an easy pick for me. 2017, The Source by Ayreon. This is actually my favorite of their albums. The Source is amazing. 2018 was a tough one because there were not a lot of great choices, but I chose Rainier Fog by Alice in Chains. 2019, I think Dream Theater does win this, by the way, because this is Dream Theater. It's Distance Over Time by Dream Theater.
Yeah.
or DOT as the fandom calls it. And then finally for 2020, one of my favorite bands that I had a difficult time fitting in here because every one of their best albums came in a year where there was something better. But I finally got them in here. My pick for 2020 is American Head by the Flaming Lips. Which is one of the saddest albums I've ever heard in my life. Like, you will, if you listen to it and you're not crying, you're probably just not paying attention to the lyrics then, you know?
Yeah.
It's a rough one to get through, but boy, is it pretty. So there you go. It's out of 40. You guys could be as harsh or as nice as you want to, but that's my picks for album of the year for each decade. For the 2010s, oh, I did say that the album of the decade was the Anathema one.
Yeah.
I like my psychedelic stuff. What do you guys think?
See, I feel like this is a hard one to judge because it is so deeply personal.
That's what I was thinking.
It is meant to be. Yeah, this is me on a plate musically. It's not,
Yeah, so I feel like I can't give I don't want. I'll rephrase. I don't want to give a biased opinion on this because it's not fair.
Yeah.
So I will say it is a Necro out of 40.
Yeah.
Wait, because I'm 43. Does that mean it's 43 out of 40?
Sure. Let's do that. I'll forgive those last 3 years because who's been doing anything anyway?
Well, when you get into the COVID era, it's a lot of people putting out live albums from their house and compilations and such, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and as you discussed, you want to, kind of stay away from the live album concept for this.
Yes, absolutely. So. Yeah, there were a lot of re-releases, and there's, great stuff, but not within the criteria here. EB, what are you saying here?
I was going to agree with Elise.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't feel like I could really...
So, Necro out of 40?
Yeah.
Well, they're being very kind in the comments with Moo giving a 37, Alice a 38, and Almighty Santa 31. And
I feel like even though they're decidedly not the albums that I would have picked for myself, they are ones that are clearly important to you.
Yeah, each of these. Well, there are some that I think are not as important, but a lot of them are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Most of them are, I would say. Like, Hypnotic Eye is less important. I don't want cheap viewers. I want expensive viewers.
They need to give you their damn money.
What is the exchange rate between cheap viewers and expensive viewers, I wonder?
You're right.
All right, let's go to the List Critics channel, and we got plenty of submitted lists this time. Let's see. I'm scrolling up. Oh, my God. How many guys? You guys went ham with the submitted list. I don't know if we can get to all of them. We'll get to as many as we can. Here's one that EB posted from... Oh, this is from BuzzFeed?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, they sure are in their nadir right now, aren't they? Whatever fucking happened to BuzzFeed? Were they that destroyed by being skewered by BoJack Horseman?
I guess.
Yeah. So this is... I thought it was rotten when I tried it. Non-Americans are sharing the quintessential American foods they'll never understand.
Oh, this is going to make me mad.
I like lists like this, though. Okay, let's see. Number 1, that awful orange plasticky American cheese. I lived in North America for a year and missed good British cheddar so much.
Oh,
you know,
right in the
this is I don't know if you know this person who posted this on BuzzFeed 2 years ago, but we have cheddar here. You don't have to eat American cheese. It is one option of many. Any cheese you have in the UK, we have it here as well.
Yeah.
Number 2, Hershey's chocolate. I seriously thought it was rotten when I tried one. Hand to my heart, I wouldn't eat another one, even if it was free. How that company makes a profit, I will never understand.
It's not that bad.
Okay, so
and I say this as somebody that enjoys chocolate from other countries much more.
Here's the here's the thing about Hershey's. I can ruin it for you in one sentence.
Is it wax? Because that doesn't bother me.
No. The reason that Hershey's chocolate tastes fine to you is because you grew up with it. The reason that it tastes really off to foreigners who often say that it tastes like vomit is because it contains an ingredient that is found in vomit. It's a certain type of acid. And it has significantly less sugar and cocoa butter than European chocolate. So the next time you bite into a Hershey's bar, you're going to taste that vomit taste. Now that I mentioned it, because it happened to me. I read that on the internet and I was like, that's bullshit. And then the next time I was like tasting Hershey, I was like, oh yeah, this kind of does taste like puke. So sorry, Elise. Misery loves company.
Hopefully my inner monologue will absolutely forget that, and I will be living in bliss again.
Well, you could always get the cookies and cream bar, because that doesn't
That's the best one.
That is the best one, and it doesn't have that ingredient in it. Number 3, pineapple on pizza. It shouldn't be a topping people can order. It's straight up nasty. I agree that it's nasty. I don't agree that it shouldn't be an option.
Yeah.
If people want to eat that, let them eat it.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
They picked the grossest picture ever for this, by the way. I'm going to scroll past that. Number 4, as a Canadian, I am disgusted by American soda. You can taste the corn syrup in every sip. All of my American friends drink Mexican Coke on that throwback pop that contains sugar instead of corn syrup.
They got the money for that? You got, like, fucking Mexican Coke money?
Yeah. Mexican.
I take that one out of context, but,
Yeah, Mexican Coke money. That's a good one. You got McDonald's money? Number 5, that fake cheese that comes in a tube, or even worse, aerosol cheese. It makes me gag just thinking about it.
It's pretty gross in concept. I do admit I like the squeeze cheese sometimes, though.
Yeah, so many of these things are just like, good, more for me!
I've never had the squeeze kind. I've had the can kind, the spray, and that was nasty. The tube is probably not as bad, though.
I don't know if I had the tube. I've definitely had, like, easy cheese.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant by the spray
bother
kind.
Yeah. The easy cheese is weird because it's got a weird taste to it that I can't quite describe. But it was a long time ago. Maybe the spray cheese technology has changed since the 90s. Number 6, for me, it's not so much a particular food, but rather the portion sizes. I'm Australian and I was raised to eat everything on my plate. I brought that mentality to the U.S. and I put in 5 kilograms in almost a month. The portion sizes are obscene. I could hardly finish a meal there without feeling ill from eating too much.
Take it home, asshole!
Then don't.
Yeah.
Doggy bag.
Yeah, take it home with you, damn it.
Number 7, American Taco Night. Tacos with the hard shell, cheese sauce, ground beef with taco seasoning, heaps of sour cream, and then instead of using real salsa, just flavorless diced tomatoes. It's a sad, sad interpretation of real Mexican tacos.
Because it's not real Mexican tacos.
Yeah, they're American. First of all, they're American tacos. And by the way, as someone who loves authentic Mexican tacos, I can tell you that the American tacos also slap.
Yeah. Again, time and a place
Also
for everything, people.
And by the way, I don't use those diced tomatoes. I do put real salsa on my American tacos.
I don't use cheese spread. I just use like shredded cheddar cheese.
I try to use both if they're available, but yeah, usually it's just the shredded cheddar.
Yeah, shred ched.
Shredded cheddar. Number 8, root beer. It tastes like the mouthwash they use at the dentist. I can't understand how anyone enjoys drinking it.
I hear that.
Get the fuck out of here.
A lot of people outside of U.S. and possibly Canada think root beer just tastes absolutely disgusting. I love root beer myself.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Personally, I don't drink soda, but when I did, I didn't really like root beer. I didn't hate it like that, but it was like, it was like the 7th choice.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you don't have cola, you don't have lemon lime, you don't have cream soda, you don't have this, you don't have that. Okay, I'll take root beer. You know what I mean?
So I do drink soda, but I do not drink caffeine.
Neither do I.
My soda tendencies are very limited these days.
Root beer and ginger ale.
Root beer, ginger ale,
not Barks root
soda.
beer.
You could have Sprite.
So Barks root beer, no from the bottle, but yes if it's a Coke Freestyle.
Because all I know is that Barks has caffeine in it.
Yeah, for some reason in the Coke Freestyle machines, the Barks is not caffeinated there.
Odd.
So if you get it from like a Wendy's or something, you're good to go.
Interesting. When I worked at Wendy's when I was a teenager, we didn't have root beer as an option, which was strange because most places do have root beer. And it was weird because people would always ask for it, and we didn't have it. We had Dr. Pepper, which some people would say, they just give them Dr. Pepper and not tell them. And they would always come back like, this is
That is totally different.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I would always ask them, like, why do you do that? And they're like, because it's kind of the same thing. And I'm like, no, it's kind of not. And so anyway, I found out like why do we not have root beer? Like what? I mean, that Wendy's, by the way, totally has root beer now and has for years. But it was that the owner at the time really liked Diet Sprite. Have you ever even seen a Diet Sprite in your life? Not a popular soda.
Only because I actively search it out sometimes.
Okay.
The only place I see it is like Sonic.
Yeah. It's not popular.
The only soda flavor, well, it's not the only soda flavor. The one I never really liked, doesn't matter what company made it, was lemon lime.
The only one that I never liked was any kind of cherry flavor.
Yeah, not a cherry person.
But anyway, the guy who owned the place was really into Diet Sprite. And I can tell you that in the 7 or some months that I worked there, it was ordered twice that I can remember.
Amazing.
Yeah, so he basically, the owner had it available because he liked it. Number 9, Twinkies. Oh my, I've never tasted anything more disgusting than a Twinkie. It's like a sloppy cake with moisturizer cream on the inside. I think eating one might actually make me sick. Dude, Twinkies rule. What the fuck are you talking about?
I like Twinkies.
I am admittedly not a fan of like the shelf-stable snack cake these days, but I respect it.
The way that you say that is so funny. The shelf-stable snack cake. I think they're delicious. I don't mind them. It's a childhood thing for me. I know they're not healthy. I know they're not quote-unquote good.
Yeah.
I
But they're not like, claiming to be either.
I might be a foodie, but I like my Twinkies too, so fuck off.
No, absolutely.
Number 10, sweet cinnamon buns. I think it's quite disturbing that Americans put that weird frosting-like stuff on top of cinnamon rolls. I'm from Sweden. We have a similar bun called kanelbullar, but here we only ever put egg wash and pearl sugar on top before baking it. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm so sorry that you don't get love in your life in the form of cream cheese frosting.
I was going to say, I know that if you get it from like the tube, it's not cream cheese frosting. It's just generic.
Yeah, but it's
frosting.
better. But it's better if it's cream cheese frosting.
Yeah.
By the way, the other kind is good too. I had no issues.
Oh yeah.
So there was a period of time about last year that for about a week or so, I fell hard into like chess YouTube, which is weird because I don't really actively play chess, but I fell into a rabbit hole of watching chess videos for about a week. And the one person that I watched a lot of was this Swedish girl who was like a chess grandmaster who would go to like these parks and play with these old black dudes and, you know, and have conversations with them. And I think that's why I liked it, because it was so wholesome and she was so nice, you know. So anyway, she's Swedish and her mother is also a grandmaster and Swedish. And she did videos in Sweden. And she was sitting there with like a chess table and everything. And an American comes by and plays with her. And they start talking. And she says, you know, where can I get good Swedish food? And she says, yeah, there really isn't a such thing. She says, most Swedish food is pretty bad. We mostly eat pasta. So just get yourself some meatballs and call it a day. I was like, damn. I showed it to Barrel, and he's like, yeah, that's accurate. Like, of course it's accurate. She's Swedish. Number 11, deep dish pizza. This creation is not pizza. It is disrespect to the Italian culture, especially Neapolitans. Deep dish completely ruins what pizza is meant to be. Dude, get over yourself. I don't like it either, but get over yourself.
Yeah. Like,
You know?
I am so over that kind of food elitism.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I say this, you know, obviously in Necro, you know this too. We are from an area where, you know, we are New York style pizza through and through.
Deep dish is not to my personal taste, but I'm not going to sit there and say it's not pizza. That reminds me of that guy. We had a guy from Italy that came into my stream once and got really aggressive about Italian food. And Barrel was kind of making fun of him a little, and you know, and he got really angry, and I'm like, dude, you need to calm down. It's not a big deal. We're just talking about food, because we were talking. Okay, so because Barrel was talking about like weird pizza toppings that Barrel likes, you know.
Sure.
And he's like, you guys are insulting Italy and all this stuff, you know, and I'm like, dude, this ain't that big. But then he was weird about common toppings like sausage or olives. And he seemed to think that any topping on a pizza is an insult to Italy. And I told him, I said, you know, I know you're from Italy, but I know Italy pretty well. And my family is originally from Italy on my mother's side. And I can tell you that fuck you.
Uh, yeah.
I am sorry, but Italy may have invented pizza. America perfected it.
Yeah. Co-signed.
Yeah. Number 12, American fast food. Honestly, the quality of fast food in the U.S. is absolutely horrible compared to the very same chains in Canada. I'm talking about standard fast food like Burger King, McDonald's, etc. It's because of the laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very few food restrictions here for quality, so we just get the worst shit.
Yeah. And like,
I don't-
like it anyway, I don't care.
I know part of it is like if you go to Tim Hortons in Canada, the menu is like 5 times bigger than it is the ones in the U.S.
I would love to go to Tim Hortons. I've never been, but I would want to go to it in Canada because of that, you know?
There is actually one not far from me here, which is really weird.
Is it
Like,
true
it's-
Those not.
is it true that Wendy's owns them now?
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's a Tim Hortons here in Bangor too, but the first time I went to one was upstate in Presque Isle, and that was the first one in the entire United States.
Yeah. Number 13, American bread. I lived in the States for 6 months. Oh, this is what you were talking about, EB.
Yeah.
At one point, shortly after moving, I brought a loaf of bread and made a sandwich. To my surprise, the bread was so sweet. I told my housemates that I accidentally brought dessert bread, but nope, it's just regular bread in America. So I could tell this person's from the UK.
Yeah.
And
The concept of dessert bread.
yeah. And I can tell you that the recipes for American bread come from France, and that's why they're sweet.
Yeah.
Our baking traditions are very rooted in actually French culture. So that's why. Number 14, instant ramen. Those packaged dried noodles are awful in comparison to the art that is ramen cuisine. In Japan, ramen is all about the proper balance of flavors, senses, and ingredients. It is a form of art, whereas instant ramen is just gross.
We have instant ramen too.
Yeah, you're not from Japan, dude.
You're
not
that's
from
some like,
Japan.
weeb shit.
One of my best friends is from Japan, and she can tell you to fuck off.
Isn't ramen just supposed to be like street food, basically?
Sushi as well is street
Yeah.
food. Most of the things that we think of as Japanese high cuisine is street food, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I grew up in New York City. I love street food. I love food trucks too.
Oh.
Number 15, cherry flavored anything. Have you ever tasted cherries? They taste nothing like that icky flavoring. You know what? I dislike the fake cherry flavoring, and I don't like cherries.
Yeah.
I don't
Same.
like cherries or anything cherry adjacent.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't like the taste of red.
I had a taste of red.
Also, I got a response from the person whose name is "We're here because we're here."
Yeah.
She said, "No, it's not. It's actually because there's a version of Auld Lang Syne that soldiers sang during World War I where that was the line."
Okay. Wonderful. That's cool. Yeah, the cherry. I had a doctor that was trying to tell me what foods would be good for my back pain, and the first thing he said was tart cherries, and I said, "What else you got?" Number 16, casseroles made of cream of anything soup. I'm looking at you, green bean casserole, tuna casserole, and mushroom casserole. I've tried those Campbell's soups, and the idea of using them as an ingredient in a meal makes me shudder. There's too much sodium.
I can't imagine eating them without using them as an ingredient.
Hard agree on this, by the way. Those casseroles are disgusting.
Well, yeah.
But the thing
I
is,
love green bean casserole. I can't help it.
green bean casserole is kind of the only one that is still stuck around. The rest of them are sort of relics of the 70s.
I told June and somebody else the other day that lasagna is just pasta casserole.
Number 17, Mountain Dew. I tasted this soda for the first time a few months ago because we simply don't have it in my home country, Sweden. I simply couldn't believe how sweet it tasted. It was as if someone melted sugar and put it in a can.
Never a fan of Mountain Dew.
Every time that I've tried to drink it, I wondered why the hell I did that.
I miss it.
I don't.
I used to love it.
Because
but
you said you
Mountain
don't drink
Dew's actually-
caffeine.
Mountain Dew is what got me to stop drinking caffeine.
Mountain Dew
actually,
there's only one soda that has more, and that's that Jolt Cola.
Yeah. Surge for a while, too.
Yeah. Well, Surge is
Sorry.
just we've got Mountain Dew at home, you know?
Well, Surge was like a little bit different in the
Yeah.
90s than it is the re-release now.
Oh, I don't know. I only know it from the 90s.
Yeah.
Number 18, ranch dressing. It's so overpowering. Why don't Americans actually want to taste the salad instead of just the dressing? Okay, 2 notes here. 1, because the dressing is usually awesome. And 2, I agree, ranch is fucking vile.
yeah, co-signed.
I like if you get like a vegetable platter, right? Like ranch for that raw veggies.
Whenever I think of that, I think of Gus Fring and his
I
vegetable
do too.
platters that nobody would touch.
Yes, I mean,
He-
who touches vegetable platter?
He would bring. I like vegetable platters,
I
but
like
I
vegetable
usually.
Oh, I
platter.
like it. But I'm saying that the dude's so scary, you wouldn't want to risk pissing him off by taking it from the platter.
Well, I mean, he brings it every time. I would think you'd
Yeah.
piss him off by not touching it. Every single time he brought that fucking veggie tray and nobody ever touched it. Yeah, crudité, exactly. I mean, I like the vegetable platters, but please give me the blue cheese in the middle. I don't like that ranch dressing.
They do make. There's occasionally I've seen like a vegetable dip, quote unquote, that's not really
Yes.
ranch, but it's definitely
had-
got like
I've had that.
red.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
and-
way better than ranch.
And sometimes it's what do you call it? It's onion dip, which is really good.
EB and I are in the
Yes,
same boat
that's
on that
right.
one.
You
Yeah.
can't have onion dip. Okay. Well, actually, is it dehydrated onions? So you might be able.
Yeah,
to.
I eat the.
I eat it, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Same, honestly.
Uh,
I
no-
do eat dehydrated onions because
Yeah.
I usually don't react as badly.
Number 19, pumpkin spice everything when fall comes around. I'm okay with pumpkin pie. I've learned to like it, but pumpkin flavored things I will never accept include pumpkin spice coffee, ice cream, pancakes, donuts, smoothies, and more. I'm sorry that you have no love in your life
Yeah.
because
And like, it's not actually pumpkin flavored.
No,
the
it's summer
seasonings
squash.
that you put in pumpkin pie. That's what pumpkin spice is. It's the
Yeah.
spice, not the pumpkin.
also pumpkin is really bland, so most of the things called pumpkin are actually a summer squash.
Every fall, I refer to as the pumpkin spice sluts are coming out, and I say that in the most affectionate way possible.
I am 100% a pumpkin spice slut. I love the pumpkin spice turnover thing that they have at Dunkin' Donuts. It's the most delicious fucking thing I've ever had from Dunkin' Donuts. So yeah, give me the pumpkin coffee, not the pumpkin creamer in the coffee, the kind where it's in the grounds. Number 20, New York City street hot dogs. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna read this. Fuck you.
Give me a
Fuck
dirty water
you.
dog and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
They brought up the bread thing again
Yeah.
in the hot dog.
But when I finally got one, it was tiny and it was actually dissolved in my mouth after one. Yeah, it melts in your mouth. That's a good thing.
Because it's good.
Plus, the bread tasted very sweet. Overall, it was a huge disappointment. Dude, get some onions on it or something. What can I tell you? I mean,
Even just ketchup and mustard, man. Do
Relish.
the double. It's fine.
number 21, sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top. This vegetable is supposed to be savory. Just why?
I
Wait,
kind of
wait.
agree with that one.
Yeah.
I agree, but for different reasoning. Like, first, I just don't like sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
But I don't get where they say it's supposed to be savory. Are they confusing sweet potatoes with yams?
Yeah, because it's right in the
I
name.
assume they must be.
Yeah. Because yams are starchy. Sweet potatoes are disgustingly sweet. Number 22. Cincinnati chili. Please keep your spaghetti noodles out of my chili.
I think June would want to have words with that person.
I agree with them. I'm sorry. I've had it before. It is absolutely not for me.
I agree with that I don't want spaghetti noodles with the chili. But the actual chili is good.
I did not like the cinnamon flavor in it.
I know it's different and it takes an adjustment period, but I don't know. I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to chili. I mean, I put chocolate in my chili.
Yeah, and I don't know. Every time I've had it, I did not enjoy it.
I put dark chocolate in it. By the way, I showed my mom that well, she's seen it, but I showed her that 6-hour version of Chidi doing the chili thing. Obviously, she didn't watch it for 6 hours. I showed her that it existed. And she said, the M&Ms, that's like, not that far from what we do with chili. And I said, yeah, but the marshmallows. That's,
Well, I was going to say the marshmallow peeps is where
that's-
it's been over.
he's like, you put the peeps in the chili and you add the M&Ms. You put the peeps in the chili and it makes it taste bad. Number 23, fluff, that yucky marshmallow spread. You Americans find ways to add extra sugar to everything, even toast. All right,
I
look.
hate that stuff.
First of all, I agree. Me and Alice just had a whole discussion about it because they made a reference to fluffernutters on The Sopranos.
I was going to mention that too.
Yeah, disgusting. Also, apparently Christopher Moltisanti's mother keeps her peanut butter in the fridge, which should be a capital offense. But
What? No.
yeah, it's going to get all hard. What the fuck? But anyway, the weird thing about it is I agree that marshmallow fluff is gross. But, dude, we try to put extra sugar to everything. Excuse me, baking soda. Ask the Australians about fairy bread.
Yeah.
The
Fucking
fluffernutter thing
sprinkles on
is,
toast.
growing up, fluffernutter was so big around here, and I never liked it because I never liked fluff.
Yeah, I can't fucks with fluff.
I like fluff, but like again, it is an absolutely cloyingly sweet acquired taste.
Yeah. Okay, number 24, flavored hummus. In America, hummus has become this vegan, low-carb health food for people to dip vegetables in, but that's not how hummus is meant to be. Where I'm from, it's a glorious, greasy dish made in heaven with a ton of tahini and olive oil on its top with beef, an egg, or cooked beans alongside falafel and an infinite supply of pita bread. Okay, can we just say that they're both good, though?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but why can't we have both?
Because I love the authentic Middle Eastern hummus, and I love it being greasy and gross like that. But I also like my new favorite thing to eat, the honey and jalapeno hummus that I get in a jar, not a jar, but a plastic container at Walmart. Honey jalapeno.
Honey and what?
Jalapeno. Honey
Interesting.
jalapeno. It's at Walmart. Try it. It's awesome.
I mean, I am a diehard roasted red pepper girly. So...
Roasted red pepper was my favorite.
Okay.
Now it's honey
noted.
jalapeno. So I'm just letting you know that I'm with you on the roasted red pepper. There's no disagreements there, but honey jalapeno has overtaken it as my favorite.
Okay. Duly noted.
Number 25, circus peanuts. They're so weird. Why did anyone decide to shape these weird treats like peanuts when in reality they taste like spoiled bananas?
I never liked them either.
I love them. They're the fakest of fake banana, and I know they're bad, but yet I love them.
I only had one ever as a kid, and I spit it out.
The texture I didn't like.
It's like weird foamy, right?
Yeah.
Number 26, White Castle burgers. I had one bite, and that was enough for me. It was oily meat that murdered my taste buds and left a fast-like aftertaste. I don't know what fast-like aftertaste means.
Listen,
yet
there's
Americans
a reason fans
love
calls
burgers
them
so
burgers.
much they even made a film about them. Well, they're called sliders because that's how they exit your body. No, for real though, like White Castle is weird because you can go in there and have the most transcendent experience you ever had in your life, or you could experience what this person did. Just go there when you're high.
There's no White Castles in Maine, so I've never had them.
We actually went to one after me and a couple of my coworkers went to a White Castle after
you couldn't eat them easy.
What was that?
You couldn't
Yeah,
eat them.
they're steamed in onion.
Yeah, they're actually they have onion juice in the meat.
Yeah. We went to a White Castle after our holiday party this year, and I got a giant bag of not onion rings, chicken rings.
Yes, they
which
have
are
chicken rings. Yes, that's true.
Fabulous. Oh God,
Yeah.
I love them so much.
It's like remember when Burger King had the chicken fries and they were gross? It's like what if that but good?
Yeah. They're so good.
Number 27, Pop-Tarts. They taste like flavored cardboard. They're horrible. They are criminally dry with little taste and awful fake fruit filling. You could put them in the toaster, right?
The one thing that I heard is they actually do have Pop-Tarts in Australia, but they're like a completely different experience from American. And they're even like the same flavors. I don't know why they taste different.
Probably different ingredients, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people don't like Pop-Tarts, and then you tell them, are you toasting them? And they'll be like, you're supposed to toast them?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they're called pop, because that's the sound the toaster makes when it pops up.
Yeah.
It's a tart that pops out of your toaster. I'm not a big fan, but like I just know that usually when people say they're dry and horrible, it's because they're eating them like kind of raw.
They are a breakfast, one of my rotational field breakfasts, and I am diehard team brown sugar cinnamon.
To be honest, if I'm going to do that kind of thing for a quick on-the-go breakfast, I'm hitting the Nutri-Grain bars. Just saying, blueberry.
Oh, those are good too. Yep.
All I know is a long time ago, somebody told me, you're a grown-up, but you prefer to eat the unfrosted Pop-Tarts.
Yeah,
I could never.
No,
I do prefer the unfrosted blueberry.
There you go. That was the last one out of 27. I don't know if the list was supposed to make me upset or whatever, but and it didn't really make me upset. But there were a few fuck you moments.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 23 is where I'm at.
Do I rate this on how angry it made me?
You rate this on whatever you want to rate it. There are no rules. The points are made up and none of this matters.
Well, I'm going to give it a 15.
There you go.
I was going to say a 14 and more for me out of 20.
More for me. I mean, there were a few things I agreed on, but I also felt that the attitude behind it was elitist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, elitism out of 27 is what Alice said. Yeah. The board posted from the YouTube channel Triple Jump every Pokemon game ranked from the worst to the best.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like there's 90 of them.
Yeah, there's 90 of them, and I wasn't. Are there
Jesus
really
Christ.
90 games? But apparently, whoever made this list, well, Triple Jump, made it where each like red and blue are not listed together.
What?
Weird.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And I mean, yeah, there are subtle differences, but I mean, so I'm gonna just read them 10 at a time because there are 90.
Okay.
So the 10 worst here, number 90 is Pokemon Treta Lab Main System 3D for the 3DS. Number 89 is My Pokemon Ranch on the Wii. Number 88 is Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire for GameCube. Number 87 is Pokemon Dash on the DS. Number 86 is Pokemon Rumble U on the Wii U. Number 85 is Pokemon Channel on the GameCube. Number 84 is Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii. Number 83 is Pokemon Shuffle on the 3DS. Number 82 is Pokemon Rumble Blast on the 3DS. And number 81 is Pokemon Rumble World on the 3DS.
I played Pokemon Shuffle for too long. It had a ton of microtransactions and stuff.
I was into it until I realized what a fucking grind it is, and I said, nope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay, I had my Pokemon Ranch. I loved it. It was not a game. It was not good, but
Yeah.
it was cute and it was fun.
It's kind of an indictment on some of these games that they're mixed in with the ones that are just not games.
Yeah. Pokemon Box is basically isn't that just how you use it to transfer Pokemon?
It was Pokemon Home for its time.
Yeah.
It's also incredibly rare, the American version of it.
Oh, yeah,
One of the few GameCube games that I never tracked down.
I think Unsealed, it's like
thousands if it's unsealed.
Inbox, yeah, it's like $1,820, $2,000
if it's
something
sealed,
like that.
if it's sealed, it's in the thousands.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I think I played Rumble World too, and I think I stopped because I got literally everything that you could.
I played Rumble Rush, which was the mobile Rumble game, and I thought it was awesome. And then they discontinued the service, and I was pissed. But I was good at it. Number 80 is Hey You Pikachu on the N64. Number 70, Pokemon Rumble for the Wii. 78 is Pokemon Play It version 2 for PC. 77 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Darkness for the DS. Number 76 is Pokemon Play It for Windows. Number 75 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity on the 3DS. Number 74 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time on the DS. 73 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky on the DS. 72 is Pokemon Cafe Remix on the Switch. And number 71 is Pokemon Quest on the Switch.
Okay, first, what does this person have against Pokemon Mystery
They
Dungeon?
really seem to hate Mystery Dungeon.
But
Not that bad.
Pokemon Quest was really fun until you realized that there wasn't much to it.
Which one? I don't even remember that one.
That was the one that for some reason it looked like Minecraft and it was kind of a single player version of a MOBA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey You Pikachu. Obviously, it's hard to get it running because you need the mic.
Yeah.
But Jethro Tex actually played it. He had to
I
order
remember.
like several different mics to get it to work.
Yeah, I remember his video on it.
And
Oh,
That was-
Jeff Rotex.
he was the first person I ever saw get to the ending, which is actually unexpectedly sad.
Yep. Yeah.
As the professor comes out, it's like, okay, you trained your Pikachu, now let it go back into the wild. Go on, shoot.
Yeah, like, why would you do that? You made friends with him.
I mean, he comes back
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, and after the credits roll, and you're
Yeah.
done crying. Number 70 is Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond on the Wii. 69,
That's a good
nice,
game.
is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team on the DS. You know, we could be saying at this point that maybe because there's so many of them and they're kind of all good,
Yeah.
that we're past the bad point of it. Number 68 is Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventures on the Wii. Number 67 is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on the GameCube.
Wow, that's low.
Yeah, it is. Number 66 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team on Game Boy Advance. 65 is Detective Pikachu Returns on the Switch. Number 64 is Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs on the DS. 63 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX on the Switch. Number 62 is Pokemon Battle Troze on the 3DS. And number 61 is Learn with Pokemon Typing Adventures on the DS. Wait a minute.
Okay,
Wait a minute. A typing game on the DS?
Yes, there is actually a keyboard peripheral for it. It's extremely weird.
Why? It's a damn
Yeah.
handheld.
Also, can I just say that Detective Pikachu Returns is decidedly better than the typing game.
Also, the Poke Park games are not only surprisingly good for being for clearly younger kids, but Jethro Tech specifically has played through a Poke Park 2 when I had to stay in the hospital after my first surgery. I put that on in order to fall asleep.
Nice.
But I told him that after he was taking his Let's Plays off of his main channel.
He put them back on, right?
No, he created a whole second channel to put them on.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the typing. Typing in for the DS is weird. Keyboard. It's a handheld.
It's extremely weird.
Kay actually stumbled upon why Troze is bad now.
Yeah.
It's because you need to be online and trade to finish the game, and now there's no DS online connectivity.
The 3DS.
Is Match 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 60 is Pokemon Go for mobile. Number 59 is Pokemon Super.
Higher.
I agree, but number 59 is Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon on the 3DS. Number 58 is Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia for the DS. Number 57 is Pokemon Unite on the Switch. Number 56 is Pokemon Rangers on the DS. Number 55 is Pokemon Violet on the Switch. Number 54 is Pokemon Scarlet on the Switch. Number 53 is Pokemon Card Game Boy 2 Here Comes the Great Team Rocket for Game Boy Color. Number 52 is Detective Pikachu on the 3DS. And number 51 is Pokemon Shining Pearl on the Switch. I mean, we are at the point now where they're but these are
I know.
We're at the point where these are the main games, and these are they're all good. I mean,
that's true.
We're well past the mid games at this point.
This person just have a thing against, or they seem to value red more than blue colors. I noticed.
Yeah, Scarlet was higher. Yeah,
and then they did it with the mystery dungeons too.
Yeah,
well, I know that
it could just be which legendary they like or something.
Yeah.
The legendary for Scarlet apparently has better competitive ranking.
Way better, yeah. Way better.
Yeah, than my boy Sandwiches. But I really liked Violet. I really did, and I am very forgiving with the Pokemon games because I am not as I don't give a shit about graphics when it comes to a Pokemon game. That's not why I play a Pokemon game.
I don't care about graphics with Pokemon.
I don't care about fraction. If I'm glitching out, sure.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But if it's some pop-in, whatever. I don't care. It's a game for kids that I have fun with.
Scarlet and Violet had some severe technical issues, though.
I have Violet. I just haven't played it yet.
The issue is why it doesn't run that well, and it's really dumb. It's because it loads the entire skybox for the region every time you play it, and the skybox is about 5 times the size of the world map. So that's why it runs so poorly. So if you play it on an emulator, it'll run better. Just saying. Number 50 is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond on the Switch. Number 49 is Pokemon Picross on the 3DS. Number 48 is Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube. Number 47 is Pokemon Troze on the DS. Number 46 is Pokemon Art Academy on the 3DS. Number 45 is Pokemon Stadium 2 on N64. 44 is Pokemon Emerald on Game Boy Advance. 43 is Pokken Tournament on the Wii. 42 is Pokemon Snap on the N64. And 41 is Pokemon Stadium on the N64.
Was Pokken Tournament Wii U, right?
Pokken Tournament.
Probably just a typo.
Yeah, it's probably just a typo. It was the Wii U. Are we? Emerald is oddly divorced from Ruby and Sapphire.
I noticed.
We haven't seen.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now I gotta admit that when I first played Emerald and I was playing through it, and I couldn't understand what the big deal. I was like, "This is just Sapphire version with just more green in it." You know what I mean? But then when I got to the part with Rayquaza, I was like, "Okay, now I see where it's cool and different."
Yeah.
But at first, I was like, "This is Sapphire version. What's the big deal?" You know. Where were we? Okay, number 40. Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Emerald also. Wallace was the champion now instead of Steven.
That's right. They did swap
Wallace,
those two. Yeah.
The last gym leader.
Number 40 is Pokken Tournament DX on the Switch. Number 39 is New Pokemon Snap on the Switch. 38 is Pokemon Crystal on Game Boy Color. 27 is Pokemon Black 2 on the DS. 36 is Pokemon White 2 on the DS. 35 is a Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color. Number 34 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu on the Switch. Number 33 is Pokemon Shield on the Switch. 32 is Pokemon Sword on the Switch. And 31 is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee on the Switch.
The Let's Go games in Sword and Shield above Black 2 and White 2? Ballsy.
I actually didn't like Black 2 and White 2.
I like Black 2 and White 2, but I do agree that Sword and Shield are better.
I admittedly never finished Black 2.
Oh.
I've only ever played White 2.
Gen 5 is that their encounter rate is just way too high for
The
me.
encounter rate is rough, yeah. I'll agree with you. But
I felt like
it's fine for me, you know.
I felt like White 2 kind of tainted the story that was told in White.
Yeah, I agree. I do like it as its own thing, though. But I would say that Sword and Shield are better. Let's Go Eevee having
that
Sword
much
and Shield.
higher than Let's Go Pikachu?
Sword and Shield. It's
Weird.
so weird. All right, well, number 30, Pokemon Conquest for the DS. Number 29, Pokemon Leaf Green on Game Boy Advance. Number 28, Pokemon Fire Red on Game Boy Advance. Number 27, Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire for Game Boy Advance. Number 26, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire on the 3DS. Number 25, Pokemon Omega Ruby on 3DS. Number 24, Pokemon Puzzle League on the N64. Number 23, Pokemon Pinball on Game Boy Color. And number 22, Pokemon Platinum on the DS. And number 21, Pokemon Legends Arceus for the Switch.
Conquest was for the GameCube.
No, it was for the DS.
Oh, Conquest! I was thinking of
Isn't that
Coliseum.
like the old-timey one?
It's
that's the...
It's a crossover with Nobunaga's Ambition.
Yeah,
I agree with you, too.
I ended up selling my copy to Dumbass, who then used it to love bomb K.
At least Kay wound up getting it.
Yeah, she
That's
still
true.
has it, like, you know, like prized possessions, I guess.
I feel like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire should be higher, but like I said, it's tough competition at this point.
Yeah.
And I got Omega Ruby because your boy Primal Groudon.
I got both.
Yeah.
I got Alpha Sapphire.
I got Alpha Sapphire first, and then I finished the Pokedex, and I knew I could never reset it again, so I went and got Omega Ruby.
That makes sense. Number 20 is Pokemon Ultra Moon on the 3DS. Hello, what? Number 19, Pokemon Ultra Sun on the 3. I think these are top 5, but that's me. Number 18 is Pokemon Sapphire for Game Boy Advance. Number 17 is Pokemon Ruby on Game Boy Advance. Number 16 is Pokemon Puzzle Challenge on Game Boy Color. Number 15 is Pokemon Pearl on the DS. Number 14 is Pokemon Diamond on the DS. Number 13 is Pokemon Yellow on Game Boy. Number 12 is Pokemon Heart Gold on DS. And number 11 is Pokemon Soul Silver on DS. Okay, Heart Gold and Soul Silver not making the top 10 is rough.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver are like top 3 for me.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon also hurts.
They would be top 10 if you put them together instead of individual ones.
That is true. I'm noticing that this person seems to dislike when there's like that third version. We saw that Emerald was lower than Ruby and Sapphire. Platinum is lower than Diamond and Pearl. Yellow is there, and Red and Blue haven't shown up. Also, like if Red and Blue being in the top 10, because we know they are, dude, what the fuck, stop.
Yeah. Bad choices. Like
off,
that's your Gen 1er goggles. Take them off.
Take off your Nintendo beer goggles and just stop being a Gen 1er.
Yeah.
Well, here's the top 10.
All right.
Number 10 is Pokemon Black on the DS. Number 9 is Pokemon White on the DS.
Oh.
Number 8 is Pokemon... Wait, X and Y, really? X and Y. X and then Y is number 7. Number 6 is Moon. Number 7 is Sun. Number 4 is Blue/Green. Number 3 is Red. Number 2 is Gold. And their favorite is Silver. Wait, so Silver, really? Like, not Soul Silver? Like, you really... like
regular Silver?
Like, come on. Like, if you're going to catch Lugia, you're going to play in Soul Silver. Like,
you know, Black and White's my favorite. I would not put X and Y above Black and White.
I would
X
not...
and Y is my favorite.
To me, X, Y, and Red, Blue, Green don't belong in the top 10.
Yeah.
X is probably my favorite Pokemon game. I'm sorry.
White's mine. Or Black and White, I guess. But I actually mostly played White, so...
And if you... I have a feeling this person probably didn't actually play Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because they're not like Black 2 and White 2. They're superior to the original Sun and Moon. I'm sorry.
I need to go back and replay Ultra Moon because
It's so
it's
good.
another. I find myself with the games with the sequels, like Black 2, White 2,
Yeah.
and then Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I get through maybe like one gym, and then I put it down because it's not different enough for me.
I barely started Ultra Moon.
Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun are, I think, different enough. You just have to keep going. And I mean, what I love, I remember seeing a compilation of PokeTubers utterly failing against Ultra Necrozma. Because you think, oh, Dragon Ghost, I can handle this, and then it has counter picks for your counter picks.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you bring a Zoroark, then you just win.
Net.
But yeah. Difficult to put a list like this together, and I definitely think that the linked versions should have been together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
out
agree.
of 90, I'm gonna be like this list should have been cut in half, like almost in half by doing that. So I'm gonna give it a 50 out of 90.
I'm gonna give it a 45. Just split it right down the middle.
I'm going to give it a 40 because enough things piss me off.
There you go.
Yeah.
Alice's favorite movies of 1969 in no particular order.
Okay.
69. Nice. So they are listed in an order, but they're not in any particular order. So I'm not number 10 is Z, which I've never seen. Number 9 is Love is Colder Than Death, which I've never seen.
Yep.
Number 8 is A Boy Named Charlie Brown, which I have seen, and it's delightful. Number 7 is Medium Cool, which I've never heard of. Number 6 is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, which I saw once a long time ago, and I don't remember much. Number 5 is The Color of Pomegranates. Let me solve this for you. Red. Number 4 is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Me and Alice actually watched this recently, and it holds up.
Was this after we saw that absolutely terrible James Bond list last month?
It was before that, but oh my god, that list was so dumb.
I'm so mad about that one.
Number 3 is The Wild Bunch. Number 2 is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And number 1 is Midnight Cowboy.
I've only seen one.
I've seen like about 4 of these. Out of the ones that if this was ordered, I would be like, why is Midnight Cowboy number 1 and not Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? But Alice did specify that it's not ordered.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I don't know a few of them, but the ones that I do know, I enjoyed.
I have not seen any of these movies.
I've only seen one, so.
Here's something that's right up my alley. It's from Bort submitted it, but it's from a YouTuber named Metroidvania Guru. So obviously, I actually watch this channel sometimes just to find out about Metroidvanias that I don't know about.
Nice.
But this is top 10 Soulsvanias, which is obviously a Metroidvania with a Dark Souls influence to it.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So number 10 is Reunder the Moonlight, which I'm going to bring up Steam to wishlist these as I'm going through it, by the way.
Nice.
Okay. Is that really the name of it? Reunder the Moonlight? It's not coming up. Reunder. Is it Remember? No.
I don't know. Bort's not here to say.
Bort is lurking.
I was gonna say he might be lurking.
Maybe it's not a Steam game. Let me type this into Google. I've never heard of this before. Reunder the Moonlight. Maybe
there's a game called Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Is it Under the Moonlight? And the RY is it?
Yeah.
I got Under the Moon. That came up. But that's a puzzle platformer.
Yeah, the one I'm seeing, Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Let me try that.
That's
Momodora.
I think it's a 2D platformer, though. I don't think that's it either. It could be it.
It says Metroidvania.
Okay, maybe this is it.
Ooh, this looks cool.
Because it's got the R.
Yeah, it must just have been a typo. This looks cool. Yeah, and I see the Dark Souls influence a little bit, although it's very fast-paced. Add to wish list. Number 9 is Ender Lilies, Quatus of the Nights, which I loved. I played it, and I loved it. Awesome
Nice.
game. And I spoke with the developers, who were really, really nice people. Number 8 is After Image. Okay, gotta look it up. Never heard of it. After Image. Found it. Okay. Yeah, this looks cool. It's got very positive reviews. Wishlisted. Number 7 is Blasphemous. I loved Blasphemous. I will say that I liked the sequel more, but they're both very good. Just what if Metroidvania, but also Dark Souls, but also Spanish Catholicism?
Oh, okay. I know that game.
Yeah, it's so cool. Beautiful artwork. And
I heard the sequel was not as good.
I just told you I love the sequel more. I think the reason that some people were not ready for Blasphemous 2 is because Blasphemous 2 is a little bit more actiony. It's got more mobility.
Okay.
The combat is more robust, so you can do more cool things in a battle. And I think people liked the clunkiness of the original, and I also like how clunky the original is, but I also like that they didn't just do the same thing again. It's a tough one. Number 6 is Hollow Knight. No, number 1 is Hollow Knight. I'm sorry, Metroidvania Guru. Hollow Knight might be the greatest video game of all time. But I'll forgive you this time because it might not be as Dark Souls-y as some of these other ones.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah. Number 5 is The Last Faith. I played through this one fairly recently and absolutely adored it. It is more Dark Souls than Hollow Knight, so I do understand that. And I love the voice acting in it, too. Really good voice acting. It was appropriately difficult. There were a few bosses that I had to grind at for like an hour or so, but then when you finally get it and you make that cool highlight of it, it's very rewarding. Number 4 is The Longest Night. Okay, I don't know this one. Gotta look it up. The Longest Night. I feel like Billy Joel should be singing that. Oh, wait. Is this Vigil The Longest Night? Because I have that. I haven't played it, but I bought this recently. Yeah, the actual title is Vigil The Longest Night. I just got this. I haven't played it, but I have it. There you go. Number 3 is Grime. I don't know much about this, but it seems to be very popular right now.
Is it having a moment, or is it just in the zeitgeist?
It's definitely in the zeitgeist. It looks awesome. I already have it on my wish list, but yeah, it just seems to be really popular right now. Number 2 is Salt and Sanctuary. I love this game. The only thing I didn't like about it is that it does not have a fucking map.
That feels weird for a
Metroidvania.
Yeah.
But the areas were kind of pretty small, so it wasn't that hard to understand where you were in relation to everything else. It was really, out of all of these, this is the one that is the most Dark Souls. Like, it has the stamina meter and everything. It's basically like What If Dark Souls, but flat. Loved it. I remember the only really super frustrating part was the last boss. Because he has this grab that he does that's very hard to avoid because it comes out of nowhere and it's very quick. And it was pissing me off. And I was playing it, and then EB came into the chat, and then I won. I was like, I'm fighting the last boss, and then I won. That was the run. I was like, EB always says that they're like the bad luck charm, but my experience has been the opposite.
Yeah.
I think that came from a few times where they missed me beating a tough boss, so they were thinking stepping away was helping.
I think it actually came from fighting games on Monday.
Oh, yeah, where I was struggling against a boss in an SNK game, and you'd step away for a second, and I'd win, and you'd be like, it's because I stepped away, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's just because I got lucky. And number 1 is Death's Gambit, which, that's bold. This game that I've never heard of. Death's Gambit Afterlife. I haven't played it. I mean, I have it, but I haven't. It's on my list of games to play, this is what they're saying is the number one Soulsvania. Okay, I'm going to just say it that Hollow Knight is the number one anything Vania. But that being said, the ones that I've played are wonderful. The ones that I haven't played are interesting. Blasphemous 2 is better than Blasphemous 1, but it may not have come out when this video was made.
That's also true.
Yes, Blasphemous 2 is from last year. So, 9 out of 10.
I'll give it the generic lukewarm 7 out of 10.
Yeah. And welcome in the chat to Shock Swift, I hope I'm saying it right, who says a hell of a year we've had this week. Yeah.
Just a little.
Elise, what's your rating on that?
I'm going to defer to you because I do not play these types of games, so I will agree with your 9 out of 10 assessment.
If I was to recommend one game on this list for you to play, surprisingly, it's not Hollow Knight.
Okay.
Because Hollow Knight is difficult. I would say, and I'm not saying you like you suck or anything, but it's a tough game.
Oh no, but I do. I'm saying that.
But Ender Lilies. Give it a shot. It's
great.
wonderful.
Let me wishlist that bad boy.
Ender Lilies. Just watch a trailer, you'll be hooked. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, wow, this is fucking cool. All right, here's a list from our very own EV Agent J.
Hey, all right.
Not numbered or anything, but it's. I think I encouraged this. Good moments in bad movies.
Okay.
So the first one here is from Batman and Robin, which was once called not only one of the worst movies ever, but one of the worst things ever. An unusually subdued and subtle scene where Bruce has a heart-to-heart with a dying Alfred who praises Bruce for still trying to fight for justice following his parents' murder rather than becoming a victim in his own right, and both admit to their futility of their task. Honestly, I totally agree, and the mistake that they made is that they didn't let Alfred die.
Yeah.
They should have let him die. It would have made it poignant instead of just sappy. From Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, most people agree no matter what your feelings are about Episode 1, the climactic lightsaber battle between Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Maul is pretty badass. Due in no small part to the song.
Yeah, that song ruled.
Yeah.
Usually the scene is called Duel to Face, because that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think it's what it comes up on the DVD as well.
Yeah.
I remember that song having such a fucking stronghold.
Yeah. At
the time that it was showing up on TRL.
It was, yeah.
Like that's how much people liked that song.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, the movie was utter garbage, but you had to hope for a few minutes in the amazing opening montage of Logan and Victor fighting together through all the wars the U.S. had been involved in since their birth. I actually disagree. Not that I think the scene is bad, but that I think the movie is not as bad as what you're saying.
I didn't like any of it.
Yeah.
Except for that one scene.
I think that it's unfairly maligned and that it's a throwback to the action movies of the 70s, and that's the way that I took it. It's cheesy as fuck. I'll agree with you there, but I don't think it was bad. Also, after coming off of the absolutely garbage X-Men The Last Stand, I felt like, hey, they're having some fun with it. The Happening, I haven't actually seen this. Early in the movie, there was a scene where construction workers plummet to their deaths from the top of the building they're working on. We see a worker on the ground look up in time to see more calmly walking off the building to their deaths in an effective, creepy shot. I never watched it, so I can't comment on The Happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from there.
Oh no, Ghost Ship is on this list.
Yes.
No.
That movie really was that bad. The whole movie is a boring slog, but it has an amazing intro where all of the boat's passengers and staff, including the captain, are on the deck, mingling in a party. Suddenly, cables of razor-sharp wire are pulled taut, violently dismembering and killing everyone except a little girl that coincidentally was searching for something on the deck at the time.
That sounds painful.
It sounds like it would at least be over quick.
It's gruesome. It makes no sense, but it's awesome to see.
I mean, for me, I just didn't like any part of this movie.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is here. More in the cool ways to chop people up camp. The laser hallway segment looks great even today, especially the final soldier who avoids all the other lasers, only to be minced into cubes by a grid of lasers.
I actually like Resident Evil.
Yeah,
It's
I was
stupid and
gonna
funny.
say that this is a movie that like I don't take at face value. It is completely ridiculous.
It's a fun popcorn movie.
Yeah, I like the Resident Evil movies except for I didn't like the third one, Retribution, because I thought it was boring. And I didn't like the last chapter or whatever the fuck it was called because the camera cuts were completely insane. Like there's a scene with Wesker walking down 3 steps and it's like 7 different shots. Also, I couldn't figure out why, but Wesker looked CGI. He wasn't. The dude who played him just looked CGI. I don't know why. But the other one, like out of 6 movies, I did like 4 of them. And I liked the reboot, the Welcome to Raccoon City, because that was a lot of fun. I view these like the same as the games. It's B-movie camp horror action stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I agree that the laser stuff was the coolest part. Pearl Harbor's on this list.
Oh, God.
A boring romance movie that is way too long, but the actual bombing of Pearl Harbor is a wonderfully done scene. Then again, Michael Bay is well known for his talents when it comes to showing things getting blown up. He is really good at the technical aspects of filmmaking, and he has made some good films. This is not one of them.
Yeah.
I will agree, though, that, yeah, the actual explosions and shit were very cool. Book of Shadows Blair Witch 2 is here. Jumping between found footage and cinematic throughout the movie finally paid off in the movie's final reveal, where we see the main characters' footage and how all the horrifying things that happened to them in the movie were actually done by the characters themselves, leaving you wondering if the witch controlled them, changed the footage, or if they just spent the weekend on a terrible bender. I turned it off before we got to this scene, so
Yeah.
you know, I was like, nah, this sucks.
Spoiler for a crappy movie.
Well, like I said, when it comes to list critics, due to the nature of it, there's spoilers all over this bitch.
Yeah, this game is spoilers.
Yeah.
No, at least this podcast is spoilers.
Good Burger. Oh, I kind of love this movie.
Oh, Good Burger.
In a weird way. I know it's bad, but I kind of love it anyway. And
but it's like nostalgic bad.
I know what it's going to be. I haven't looked. I'm looking up at the ceiling right now. I know what it's going to be. Let's see. At the end of the movie, Kenan Thompson's Dexter, who has been using Kel Mitchell's Ed, he's been taking advantage of him, decides to come clean. Dexter tells Ed, "We can't be friends anymore," to which Ed replies, "Is it because I'm black?" And the delivery of the line is amazing, and the way that the reply, he's just like, "What? You're no." I mean, that was just like, I don't know, because he breaks his like surfer dude attitude for just a second. Is it because I'm black?
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
deadpan is serious.
Oh, Alien Resurrection is on this list. Oh, this movie's so bad. This movie was mostly a mediocre action with a convoluted and stupid plot and Joss Whedon's signature one-liners. However, the scene where Ripley ate the successful clone of Ripley with enhanced abilities from her xenomorph blood, finds the laboratory and sees the twisted horrors that resulted from the past 7 attempts to clone her is genuinely really disturbing. Agreed. Also, if you want to enjoy this movie but not enjoy the actual movie, play Metroid Fusion.
Right, that's the plot done right.
Yeah. Shallow Hal. God, I hate this movie. Not only do I hate it for being bad, but I hate it for what it is.
I actually found there was like a surprising number of fans for this movie when I went to look something up about it.
I mean, I just hated it, and I was mostly in it for like, cause like for Jack Black and Jason Alexander. Although now I'm mad at Jack Black, so fuck him.
Well, everybody is.
Yeah. Shallow Hal is possibly closer to mediocre depending on who you ask. It's about a shallow man, shocker, who is hypnotized to see people based on their inner beauty rather than their exterior. Fat jokes ensue as he can't see that Gwyneth Paltrow is actually an overweight woman. However, one of the things that happens in the movie is he volunteers helping children at a hospital. After the hypnosis is lifted, he returns and realizes that he's been volunteering in a pediatric ICU. A little girl he originally saw as pretty and unblemished is covered in burn scars, and Hal, upon seeing her, calls her a cutie sincerely and gives her a hug.
Well, you got an all out of me from fucking Shallow Hal, so okay.
Yeah. I hate this movie, but I will agree with that. And also, there was one other part where he saw the other volunteer workers as being beautiful people when they were not, so that worked too. Because it was mostly him, seeing people as ugly.
Yeah.
Or seeing Gwyneth Paltrow as Gwyneth Paltrow. But yeah, how many of these were there? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 11. I'm gonna give you a 10. I don't know. I liked X-Men Origins Wolverine, so sue me.
I think I might actually give you a full 11 out of this one. I thought that was very good.
Okay.
Nice work.
Yeah. Okay.
Another list from EB, although I don't think you didn't make this list.
No, it came from list 25.
List 25. 25 classic TV shows people didn't realize are actually inappropriate. I feel like people realize it, but they didn't care. But let's find out. Number 25 is Dragnet. The reason given is criminals are always found guilty, sends the message that the police and cops are infallible. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. It's very, almost Hays Code-ish.
There's also a lot of British shows on this, I noticed.
Okay. Might have been a British creator, I guess.
Yeah.
Number 24 is Fabian of the Yard. The reason is the lead is a privileged, smug, and sexist man. So just
Never heard of that show.
Just like everybody else, I guess. I don't know. Number 23 is Dixon of Dock Creek. The reason the lead character is a cop that only ever deals with petty offenses, but he died in the movie and was brought back in the show with no explanation. There's a movie? There's a show? What is this? I've never heard of this. What? Okay. Number 22, The Black and White Minstrel Show. Reason. If you know what a minstrel show is, you could probably guess.
The thing is,
dear.
that ran in Britain until the 70s.
That sounds about right.
It was really beloved. That it was merch and everything.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Number 21, Doctor Who. Reason given took over 50 years to cast a woman as the Doctor. Mentions no person of color has been picked, but the list is 4 years old. Ncuti Gatwa, a black man, currently stars as the 15th Doctor. Well, I mean, when you consider, that's almost inaccurate because it didn't take 50 years because the show was off the air for 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I feel we are entering dubious territory.
Yeah. Number 20 is On the Buses. The reason the main character is an older man who aggressively pursues very young women and is very sexist.
I've never heard of that one.
It sounds gross.
Yeah.
Number 19 is Love Thy Neighbor. Reason about two couples, one black and one white, who are neighbors, and the husbands constantly fight and throw racial slurs at another. Racist, obviously, but the black neighbor usually comes out on top, so the list kind of claims it's racist against white people.
Well, that's not possible.
What the fuck?
I did this because the list ended up being really bad. So.
I'm getting that vibe. I'm agreeing with Elise that we're entering dubious territory.
Yeah.
Number 18 is Ain't Half Hot Mom. First of all, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fake.
Yeah. It's set in India immediately after World War II. Cast a white British man as brown and as an Indian manservant perpetuated racist stereotypes about Indian people. You know, one of my favorites is when people say, why did Ben Kingsley play Gandhi? And I'm like, dude, he's actually Indian, though.
Yeah, he is.
Number 17, Happy Days, really? Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Fonz is kind of a creeper, rarely any black people on the show.
I never got the impression that Fonz was kind of a creeper. Can somebody, correct me on this?
In the first couple of episodes, he was a bully, but then when he became popular, they made him wholesome. So yeah, I don't know. He had a lot of girlfriends, but it's not like they were underage or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 19, so. Yeah, no, I don't know. That one's dubious. Let's see. Number 16, The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. The reason giving perpetuates misinformation that male grizzly bears can be tamed. They cannot. The show used a female bear instead, as they are far more docile. I don't think anybody watched the show and got the idea that you could tame a grizzly.
I didn't. What?
Yeah, I don't think that anybody had it, yeah. Number 15 is Mind Your Language. The reason it's about a class of ESL students from many countries, highly racist and perpetuated many negative stereotypes about races and ethnicities. Good thing I never heard of it.
That sounds like some BBC nonsense.
Yeah, it is another British one.
I mean, just mind your language. We'll be back after this station break. Number 14 is the Dukes of Hazzard. A reason makes light of a corrupt voting system. Mayor and sheriff are openly crooked. The boys drive recklessly, and yes, the car is named the General Lee and has a Confederate flag painted on the roof. That last bit is the only one I actually care about.
Yeah.
The first reason is that there's what?
What? Because the cops are corrupt? Well, fuck them. They usually are. I mean, come on.
Like that's
Number 13 is Cheers. The reason promotes alcoholism. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
sure. What?
Characters have sedentary lifestyles and bad eating habits that are never shown to suffer from it.
What?
It's a sitcom.
At this point, they were losing it. They're like, so we're not going to touch on any actual problems, like there's sexism in the show. And I even put a note that the list doesn't mention that Sam's a recovering alcoholic.
It's supposed to be funny, not... Yeah, whatever.
Like it's you're not gonna model your life after Cheers.
Number 12 is the A-Team. Specifies it's not because it's about a group of ex-soldiers who are fugitives from the law, but because of frequent unrealistic violence, and makes light of Murdoch's mental illness while exploiting it. I'll agree about Mad Murdoch, but the unrealistic action was the reason we watched it.
They were going on saying they shoot so many bullets, but nobody gets shot.
Yeah, but stuff blows up.
Yeah.
There's explosions.
We watched the A-Team because it was a lot of action in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Number 11, The Master. Reason not because of the ninja main characters are all white. Apparently the show justifies that somehow. But instead because the titular ninja master stunt double is clearly 20 years younger than the actor.
What?
That doesn't make it inappropriate.
And I even put here that by this point, the presenter and the cameraman are absolutely losing it.
Yeah, how does that make it... that might make it stupid.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it inappropriate. Number 10 is Miami Vice. The reason giving... extravagant lifestyles of the main character and the fact that they escape from any situation perfectly, neat, clean, orderly clashes with the fact that the episodes are based on real-life cases and tries to tackle serious issues in a silly way. Nobody thought Miami Vice was realistic.
Yeah.
They didn't watch it because they thought it was a documentary.
I mean, I didn't really like the show, but not for any of those reasons.
Oh my god.
Number 9 is Murder, She Wrote. Reason Jessica Fletcher seems to be a grim reaper of death because an extraordinary amount of people die in the fictional Cabot Cove, making you wonder if she had a hand in all this. If London had the same murder rate as Cabot Cove, 14,833 people would be murdered in London a year. When when you have to have a murder every week to solve, it's going to be an issue.
Like, it's not called larceny, she wrote.
But hold on, I gotta mention, that doesn't make it inappropriate. It's about a lady writer who can solve murders real well.
Yeah.
Do you think that a show about solving murders should have less murders?
This was another show that was sacred in my family because my great-grandmother loved it.
I watched this shit all the time as a kid.
She was, my great-grandmother was a writer. I have a picture of her wearing a Cabot Cove t-shirt.
I loved it because I like mysteries. And I like it when they're new. Because usually mysteries are the same old Agatha Christie things that are, that you know the ending to.
Yeah.
Like, I can watch, another fucking remake of Murder on the Orient Express and love it, but I still know the ending already.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I love Knives Out so much, because it was something new, And then me and Alice recently watched Glass Onion. Not as good as the first one, but still amazing.
My 2 cents on that. Better mystery, worse movie.
My only thing is that it became painfully obvious within 3 seconds of looking at Ed Norton's character that he was an Elon Musk character, And I was like, I get it. He's Elon, he's evil, and he's a dumbass. Yeah. And they kind of drove it into the ground a little bit. And I'm like, I get it, Ryan Johnson. You really hate Elon, and I get it. But could we get back to the mystery? Number 8 is Baywatch. The reason, promoting unrealistic body images for both men and women. Men wear baggy swim trunks while women wear tight swimsuits. Almost like that's how it is in real life. Yep. Yeah. It's highly inappropriate for lifeguards to solve crimes, be social workers or political activists while they're on duty. Also, the slow-mo is just weird.
What?
Yeah.
At that point, the presenter is like, we started with racism and now we're at running in slow motion.
Yeah, come on,
Like,
man.
racism would be more inappropriate than
Yeah.
just like
Come on,
people in
man.
swimwear being lifeguards.
Also, the solving crimes things was from a spin-off that nobody watched, so...
They turned the Cheers one into a running joke every time they say it's like, it's not as important as not eating a carrot on Cheers.
I mean, you don't eat healthy food in a bar. You eat nachos.
Yeah.
Yeah, or wings or something.
I remember this. Number 7 is Heil Honey, I'm Home.
Oh,
Famously
Christ.
canceled after only one episode. It was about Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun just before World War II, living next door to a Jewish couple in a send-up of 50s sitcoms. I've seen the one episode.
Yeah, I think
It was-
Alice might be knows with this one.
It was so not funny that things that were funny became not funny because of it. Number 6 is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Really?
Okay.
Oh, I get it. You know, Dorkly did a bit about this. The color coding of the original lineup being racist, intentionally or not, with an Asian American woman as the Yellow Ranger, a black man as the Black Ranger. Not only that, the Green Ranger was a Jewish guy. There was some other things that were weird about it that Dorkly did a send-up on. It was a video called Zardon is Racist. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It was the 90s, though, you know?
They're like, also, they continued on with that. They're like, it also promoted this. They also had the
I
White
see
Ranger
that,
as a
yeah.
white guy.
Yeah, and the Pink Ranger's a girl. I mean, they did mix it up with the colors after that first, like, a bit, but, you know.
What's funny is, in Japan, the blue one's usually a girl.
Go figure.
The yellow one is usually a guy.
Number 5, Midsummer's Murders. Let me guess, too many murders? Set in a picturesque town full of quirky characters that admittedly had a lot of murders. Cast was all white. When people began to complain about the lack of diversity, they finally added an Asian character 15 years into its run.
This is true. Midsummer Murders is a BBC show.
I've never heard of this. So, yeah.
It's one of those that airs on like public television,
So this
like
is
Channel
like
13.
British Murder, She Wrote?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Very much so.
Number 4 is the entirety of the CSI franchise.
Whoa, hell no.
Reasons set unrealistic expectations about the importance of forensic evidence in trials, leading to real-life jurors not wanting to convict due to the lack of forensic evidence. That's actually true. It's called the CSI effect. There was a movie called Superbad, which is a really goofy like teen sex comedy that I actually
remember that
have
one.
a soft spot for. There's a part where these two dopey cop characters are talking to this kid, and they say, you know, when I became a cop, I thought everything was going to be covered in semen. and that we would be able to test for it, and it turns out not. Usually things aren't covered in semen. Number 3 is Storage Wars. The show is essentially about profiting off the misfortune of others, showing people gleefully selling the contents that may be someone's precious family heirlooms. What's interesting is that when they started the show, they were originally going to do follow-up segments that showed why the people did not pay the storage fees and why they lost the stuff, and that it was just too fucking depressing because it was always just they couldn't afford it because of some sort of, you know, they lost their job or there was a medical emergency. It was never something quirky or funny.
Number 2 is the reason why I had to do this.
Okay. Dora the Explorer. Okay. Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm reeling myself in. Sorry, everybody.
I mean, I've not watched this show, but I was subjected to it once, where I was in a car dealership waiting for my the car that I had to be repaired, and Dora was on the TV, and I found it to be brain poison. Mostly because the entirety of it seemed to be repeating a phrase 5 times in a row.
Yes.
Encourages irresponsible behaviors by showing the 7-year-old little character, title character rather, walking around alone all the time.
She's not alone. She got Boots with her.
In an episode, she casually approaches a lion, which will send the message to kids that it's okay to approach dangerous wild animals.
And I saw this, I'm like, this is actually the second person I know that thought Dora was evil. After June's mom.
Yeah. Well, see, now me and June spoke about that once, and we came to the conclusion that she probably saw one of those, like, parodies where Dora's an adult. Because the word that June's mother used to describe Dora was pornographic, which doesn't make any sense. And to the fact where when June pressed her on it to find out why she thought it was pornographic, she denied having said that. But we think that she might have seen like one of those like YouTube videos where it's like Ratchet Dora.
Like Hood Dora.
Yeah, Dora in the Hood kind of thing. Yeah, I think kids know not to approach a lion. This is sort of like it reminds me of there's this show in the UK called Peppa Pig, and there was an episode of it that was actually banned in Australia.
I remember this.
Because
the spiders?
Yeah, it had to do with spiders because they were trying to show that spiders are really not dangerous, but in Australia, spiders are fucking dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and number 1 is The Apprentice. Reason shows the contestant skipping over necessary steps and becoming an entrepreneur in real life. Promotes aggressive competition rather than cooperation. Claims being bras and rude
Brash.
is a brash. You wrote bras.
No, I see
bras. And rude is a can. Well, it still works. Is a can-do attitude. Only a brief mention that it was hosted by Trump at the end. I mean, anybody could have hosted this, and it would have been just as stupid.
That's
I kind of hate the show anyway, not for any of these reasons, but because
it's not a great show, but I also don't think it's like people didn't realize it's actually inappropriate. It's not inappropriate, it's just stupid.
I started hating it around Celebrity Apprentice because obviously I watched the season that Meatloaf was in, and they kept finding excuses to make him fight with Gary Busey. And it's like, let the mentally ill guy and the guy with brain damage just fight each other.
Yeah, and also, like, it really highlighted how, unfortunately, how much Meatloaf really needed some kind of treatment at that point, because Gary Busey was coming off as the reasonable one.
Yeah.
And Gary Busey has, like, a lot of, issues of paranoia and such, and unlike Meatloaf, he's actually a terrible person, too.
Yeah.
Out of how many was this? 25?
It was 25.
So okay, so I'm assuming this was supposed to piss me off because apparently you wrote here that the person who presented this did not write it and hated it as well. So basically what you're saying is this person was doing a list critics.
Basically, it was like unintentional. They just never had seen the list before, and they kept going, "What?"
Yeah, so they were doing a list critics, and now we're doing the list criticception. I will give it 25 out of 25 just because it never failed to amuse me.
I will give it a 24 out of 25. Simply because I feel like there's at least one show on here that probably belongs there.
Oh, there's a few. There's a few, but sometimes the reasoning is a bit fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the choices, their explanations are not it.
Yeah. So triple jump again and submitted by Bort. All the Garfield games ranked from worst to best. Are there good Garfield
ones?
games? I know Garfield Kart was a bit of a meme for a little while. But that's about it, right?
I didn't
Diary
know
Desmond
there were...
Pfeiffer, man, that show was a hot trash.
There's a running joke in the Quirks cartoon series as their favorite show.
Oh, it's kind of funny though. Okay, so all the Garfield games ranked from I guess least bad to most bad to least bad. I'm gonna go through this rather rapidly. There's 28 of them. Number 28 is Garfield Winter's Tale. I'm not going to list the systems because who cares. Number 27 is Garfield Trivia Game. That exists.
Oh, wow.
Number 26 is Garfield Double Dares. Number 25 is Garfield A Tale of Two Kitties. Number 24 is Garfield Gets Real. Wait a minute. That's the name of a game. They made a game. Yeah, I'm looking it up too. They made a game and they decided to call it Garfield Gets Real. It's on the DS. Let me look this up here. I need to see what this is.
Oh, it's based on a movie. Like a direct-to-TV movie, it seems.
Okay, then. Number 23 is Garfield: The Search for Pookie. I don't know who Pookie is, but he could stay
The
lost.
teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
Oh, okay. Number 22 is Garfield: Eat Your Words. Number 21 is the Garfield Show: Threat of the Space Lasagna. That's an amazing
That's a good
title.
name.
It came out for the Wii. I would have thought that was older. Number 20 is Create with Garfield. Number 19 is Garfield's Typing Pal. You know you're a successful franchise, a media franchise, when there's a typing game.
The Garfield show, I think that was a spin-off from the CGI newer cartoon.
Yeah. Number 18 is
typing game.
Number 18 is A Week of Garfield. I have actually played this. It was one of my most famous videos from back in the day because I found out that for some reason, when you press the up button, Garfield makes this ridiculous squished face, and every time I did it, went, "Urgh!"
Oh, no.
Urgh. It's just such a bad game. Number 17 is Scholastic's Comic Book Maker featuring Garfield. Number 16 is Garfield Labyrinth. Oh, no.
What?
He's more David Bowie.
It's probably better than Sonic Labyrinth. Number 15 is Garfield's Wild Ride. Number 14 is Garfield Big Fat Hairy Deal. Number 13 is Garfield Kart. Like I said, that was a meme for a while. Number 12 is Garfield's Fun Fest. Number 11 is Garfield's Lasagna Party.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then, this must be the sequel, because number 10 is Garfield Lasagna World Tour.
Looks like that one came before the other one.
Oh, yeah, because it's PS2.
Oh, man. Garfield Lasagna Party is a Mario Party clone?
Oh, that's too funny. You should do that for like a bad game stream.
I am absolutely putting that on my Steam wish list.
You should do that for a bad stream. Yeah, totally. You should.
I should.
Because those of you that don't know, Elise sometimes just like does like, let's play some shit.
Yeah.
It's $30?
Oh, wait for it to be on sale. I mean, come on.
Add to my wish list.
Yeah. Number 9 is another version of Tale of Two Kitties. It's like the console version instead of the. You could emulate the Switch version for Lasagna Party, by the way.
That's true. I don't actually emulate Switch yet, so maybe we'll talk later.
Yeah. Number 8 is just called Garfield. It's a PS2 game, just called Garfield. Number 7 is Garfield Caught in the Act, and that is also number 6. Apparently, the Game Gear version is slightly better than the Genesis version.
I've seen this one be played. It's a game.
Yeah, it's a game that it happened, right? Number 5 is Garfield Mad About Cats. Number 4 is Garfield and His 9 Lives. That was a movie back in the day.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a
disturbing.
Disturbing.
I remember as a kid, I was very freaked out by it. Number 3 is Garfield's Nightmare. He must have seen that movie. Number 2 is Garfield Saving Arlene. And the best Garfield game of all time is Garfield Kart Furious Racing, which is like the new Garfield Kart.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Out of 28, what is the number that encapsulates Garfield?
I'm going to give this list a 10 just because we don't have to see Garfield's big fat hairy anything else.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah.
I'm going to give this a Y out of 28.
Wait, that's a 26, because that's the 26th letter of the alphabet.
There we go.
Board also submitted from the YouTuber Totally Tubular Jonathan the 10 hardest single-player first-person shooter games that this person has played.
I think he might have submitted a couple of lists from Totally Tubular Jonathan.
Yes,
that name
absolutely.
sounds familiar.
Yes, absolutely. Number 10 is Halo 2. I didn't think that it was more difficult than the first or third game. Hey, June. Was Halo 2? I don't know. I don't know about that one. Number 9 is Stalker Battle of Chernobyl. I think you mean Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Number 8, I didn't play that one. Number 8 is Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal was difficult. It was difficult. But you know what? It has an easy mode.
Yeah, this says that's based on normal difficulty.
Oh, okay. I did see that. Yeah. It was significantly more difficult than the previous Doom game on normal difficulty. I will agree with that. Number 7 is Turok 2 Seeds of Evil. Number 9 was Stalker, June. Turok 2 was a little hard, I guess. Number 6 rather is Blood. Yeah, Blood's a... It's a classic boomer shooter with classic boomer shooter difficulty. Number 5 is Shadow Warrior. I can think of a lot of other reasons not to play Shadow Warrior. Number 4 is Rise of the Triad. Yeah, that game could get pretty cheap at times. The issue with Rise of the Triad, I love this game, but there's an issue with it. The enemies tend to be bullet sponges. They just suck up the bullets. It doesn't specify which Shadow Warrior, Jen. It doesn't specify.
You'd have to find Bort and ask him, or look at the video.
Or yeah,
I
you'd have to
guess.
watch. You'd have to go to Totally Tubular Jonathan's YouTube channel and watch the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Number
good.
3 is 2 games. It's Hexen and Hexen 2. I actually have never played Hexen 2, and I don't think that Hexen is significantly a difficult game. I think it can be confusing if you don't know where to go. You can easily get lost in it because it's so open.
I think you skipped number 4.
Did I? No, Rise of the Triad was number 4.
Oh,
Yeah. Number 2 is...
Is Hexen the one that randomly played the CD from your
Yes.
drive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Queensryche is playing. What's
Go
going
back.
on? We brought it back to that. Number 6 is the Rainbow Six series. Well, I mean, the only thing about the Rainbow Six series is that when usually if you get shot, you just die because they're supposedly, realistic. So you have to approach them differently. You can't play it like Doom. But speaking of which, number 1 is Final Doom, which is really 2 games, only one of which is difficult. Questionable, Totally Tubular Jonathan. Very questionable. I could think of way harder games than these. Like
Maybe he just hasn't played them.
That is true. It does say the most difficult first-person shooters that he has played. You think TNT is harder? I thought TNT was a cakewalk. Really? I thought TNT was a cakewalk. I thought Plutonia was cheap difficulty a lot of the times, and it's not so bad if you know where the enemies are going to pop off. Totally tepid, Jonathan. TNT has 6 million hit scanners. That's true, but it tends to be pretty liberal with chain gun ammo, so I never had that issue. I don't know. I found it to be a cakewalk and Plutonia to be the difficult one, but I guess that's just different approaches to playing games, But that being said, out of 10, totally tepid, 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of these. Like, the only shooter I've ever played was BioShock, and I beat it on hard mode, just how you know it's not hard.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll
BioShock could be hard if you approach it incorrectly.
yeah.
If you try to play it like Doom, it's going to be really fucking hard.
I give this list, I guess, another generic 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I think we got time for just one more. There's more lists here, but we're running out of time here. And I know some of y'all are going to watch the movie. Actually, what is that movie going to be? I'm going to look. I am tired, but I kind of want to know what it is.
The Endless.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
That's one I think I got the ending for it spoiled for me.
Yeah. I'm looking
Yes,
at
I did.
the next few. Yeah, I might have to show up for Dawn of the Dead though. I love Dawn of the Dead. Okay, from Alice. Well, not from Alice, but Alice submitted it. 7 discontinued canned foods that will probably never seen again from Mental Floss.
Okay.
I hope this is going to be in a they put that in a can type of list. Okay. Let's see. Oh, are we just... Wait a minute. So, okay, the first one is Chef Boyardee roller coasters. I don't know what that is. Let's see.
Nope.
It's easy to see why a can advertising roller coasters would have been a big hit with the little ones. The pasta released in the mid-'70s came in shapes meant to mimic the wavy curves of the amusement park ride. Oh, so it's just pasta shaped like roller coasters. Despite the colorful packaging, quirky name, and mini meatballs, the ride just wasn't a big enough attraction, and Chef Boyardee discontinued it in the late 80s.
So it's just like the SpaghettiOs with meatballs in it, but it just looks different.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
All right.
No, I do agree that Plutonia is a fun challenge, but I'm just saying I found TNT to be very easy. The next one is Chef Boyardee Zooroni, which that's a mouthful. Much like roller coasters, the old school fans of vintage Chef Boyardee pasta would probably consider Zooroni one of the classics. The pasta was shaped like zoo animals, including elephants, camels, and giraffes, and had the same tomato base as the company's other products. Though it was discontinued around 1982, kids from this era would have even seen TV commercials for it along with Pac-Man and Smurf pasta. This was the time period of let's make pasta shaped like things from TV shows.
Miss that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they probably still have like the dinosaur mac and cheese or whatever, you know?
I
That's
got
true.
like the SpaghettiOs with like football shaped ones. I actually like them better than the regular SpaghettiOs.
Okay.
That's just the only time that's ever happened with shaped pasta.
Altoid sours, do we consider this a can?
It's a tin.
It's a tin, right? Like, it's a tin.
The tin isn't
but
inherently a can.
Is it a type of can, though?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a stretch.
I feel like it is a stretch, and it's not in the... It technically might be a can, but it's not in the spirit of the list. Altoid sours were dope, though. I will agree on that. Although I prefer the regular Altoids, but they were still good. Jolt Cola. I didn't know I didn't know this was gone, to be honest. I tried it once. I thought it tasted like sludge, and I was done with it.
This is another one that's like kind of a like it's a can.
This
but
is
it's
recent.
not like a can.
Those there, it's cans. I mean, the one I bought was in a bottle, but it does come in cans. This says it was recently discontinued in 2019. So that's why I didn't know that it was discontinued, because I haven't drank soda
Brought
in so
up
long.
Jolt when we were talking about Mountain
We did.
Dew.
Yes,
This
that
is
it's
another
it's
callback.
because Jolt is double the caffeine of regular soda. Pringles top ramen chicken flavored chips.
I looked for these for months and never found them, and I'm still mad about this.
I don't like Pringles because of the weird texture, but it's an intriguing chip flavor.
These were only available at Dollar Generals, and we don't really have any of those around here.
They're everywhere. If you come to Pennsylvania, we have like they grow out of the ground. Dollar Generals.
I'm trying to remember, did I ever tell you or show you or send you the holiday ham flavored
Yes, you
Humpty
did.
Dumpty chips?
Yes, you did.
I got addicted to those. They were like a limited edition thing. They're gone now.
No, that's a
And
shame.
they did, in fact, taste like, a honey ham.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." Like I said, I don't like Pringles because of the weird texture, but for chip flavors, this does sound really good. But once again, the discourse is that really a can?
Exactly. Like
It's a cardboard tube. You know what I mean? It's like almost like like what tennis balls come in. Mitch Hedberg had a joke about the Pringles company was going to sell tennis balls, but somebody fucked up and ordered potatoes instead, and they said, "Fuck it, cut them up."
Oh, Mitch Hedberg.
Pumpkin spice spam.
I have a can of this somewhere. Mr. Explosion bought it for me for my birthday one year because I was going to do a taste test on it. And then I just chickened out and never did it. And now I don't know where it is.
Okay, I have to say that earlier in the podcast, I came out as a defender of pumpkin spice everything and that I love pumpkin spice. And even I will say, fuck off with pumpkin spice spam. Mostly because I think spam is disgusting. I love pumpkin spice flavor, but spam is disgusting.
I love spam. It's so bad. I love it.
I can't eat it.
I never liked it. When I was a kid, my dad would fry it and he would cut up pickles into it. My brother and Tia would eat that all the time.
The pickles might
we would
make
treat
better.
it just like a regular ham. Put like pineapple slices and brown sugar on it and just bake it.
Look, Duke. I was gonna bring this up. James said Duke Cannon came up with a pumpkin spice soap a few years back. I remember all the dude bro-tatoes that liked Duke Cannon were really pissy and triggered about it, and Dune started ordering it. It turned out to be really good soap. I mean, if you smell like pumpkin spice, that's delightful, but I wouldn't eat pumpkin spiced fake ham. If it was real ham, yes, please, give it to me. I want it in and around my mouth. The next one is Lifesavers Soda. I didn't know this existed.
I know I finally found the cream savers again.
Yes,
those. I got those because I get really bad dry mouth for my medication, so I need lollipops and hard candy.
It said it was from the mid-'90s, and it just didn't work. It was supposed to compete with Snapple and Fruitopia.
Oh, that's a shame. I would try it.
Yeah.
Not like now.
Yeah.
Like,
Not,
I'm not going to drink a 90s can of, but you know.
I'm sure you could find it on eBay.
Oh, absolutely.
There are people who buy like old food from the 80s and 90s on eBay and then actually eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, there are easier ways to die. Skittlebrow. I heard they made Skittlebrow a real thing.
In what concept are you going to go for with this one? Because
I'm just saying that somebody made a fucking Skittlebrow. They couldn't call it that because Skittles is trademark, but they did.
Oh,
they did
fascinating.
it. Yeah.
So in the realm of Skittlebrow.
Oh my God, June. I'm sorry, Elise. I just have to say. I have to reply to June. I forgot that Sobe existed until you just said it, and the lizard flavor, that was the fucking elixir of life. Go ahead, Elise. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. So Walmart has this Clear American. It's like 60-cent sparkling flavored sweetened water, right? They came out with a rainbow candy variety, and I swear to Christ, it tastes just like Skittles.
Cool. So they made Skittlebrow, in other words.
It's effectively Skittlebrow.
Yeah.
I have one more bottle downstairs. I'm holding on to it.
I'm trying to find the exact flavor because apparently there was a few different lizard ones. There was a lizard one that I would get whenever I saw it back in the 90s. It was my favorite Sobe. It was amazing.
I don't think I ever had Sobe.
I don't know really what the deal with Sobe was. It was like one of those things like Fruitopia that was around for like a little while. And then it was just gone. But I was into it.
I was a Snapple Elements girl.
I believe it was the green tea Sobe, actually. Now that I'm looking at all the flavors together. I believe it was the green tea Sobe, because it was sort of clear. I never had Fruitopia. I had Snapple a bunch of times until one day I got a Snapple with meat in it.
What?
Yeah, I was at a pizzeria. And I ordered a pizza, and I said I'm gonna grab a Snapple out of the thing, and I paid for it. And I just grabbed a random Snapple and I opened it up, and there was meat in it.
Oh no, I don't like that.
No, I didn't like it at all either. And I had heard about a lot of people who found gross things in their Snapple, and I was just sort of like, whatever, it hasn't happened to me, And then I saw that, and I opened the can, and it was all like there was meats in it. There was meat, chunks of meat floating in it. So I brought it to the pizza guy, and he looked at it, and he goes, "Fucking wow!" And he's like, "You could go ahead and just grab another one." And I said, "Well, I'm gonna grab an Arizona." And he said, "You can grab whatever you want."
Woof.
And Snapple now with Scrapple. So from then on, I never touched another Snapple. I became a diehard Arizona iced tea fan instead. So Crapple, made from the worst stuff on earth.
Arizona is like peak, for the record. Just saying.
Yeah. Out of what was it, 7? I question that some of these were not actually in cans. However.
Yeah.
I also question the 2 Chef Boyardee things. It's kind of the same shit, just different pasta. I think this could have been more interesting. You know what I mean? Surge gives you an irregular heartbeat, probably because of like a fucking pound of sugar and enough caffeine to be like 5 coffees within each serving. So yeah, I would imagine so, June.
When I was 11 or 12 and I was in that bad rollover car accident.
Yeah.
And my brother and I basically had to break our way out of the car. We went to the nearest house. And there was like this old couple, and they were helping us stuff. And they gave us each a can of Surge. We're like, we got these for our grandkids because we heard the kids like them.
That'll be like a shot of adrenaline, right?
Pretty much.
After a car accident. I've never had a rollover car accident. My dad was in once, and he came out unscathed.
I had the worst injury. I had a concussion.
No. My sister was in one, and she was all fucked up. But it was bruises and cuts and stuff, whereas her friend broke her leg.
My mom raised her shoulder.
I hope you never experience one.
Yeah.
My brother was completely uninjured. He's the one that actually managed to get through the window, because what happened was we went front over back and landed on our roof.
Wait, you Michael Bay'd it.
Yeah, and we were stuck on a roof in the middle of snow. We had hit black ice
Yeah.
and gone over a snowbank.
Or, no, not Michael, but you matrixed it.
Yeah.
So, like in the second Matrix movie, they like shoot a car and then the car would like flip over forward. And I remember I was like seeing it with my friend Brandon in the theater, and he goes, "That's not realistic." And I'm like, "It's not real. It's like they're in the Matrix. It doesn't have to be realistic."
Yeah.
June said one time she drank 3 surges in about 2 hours and could see through time. I know it's a Lisa Simpson quote, but like, what's the matter, Lisa? Is that too spicy? I can see through time. My friend Marielle can't drink any caffeine because any amount gives her heart arrhythmia.
Oof.
Yeah. Her doctor told her it's not dangerous, but it's like scary, so she doesn't fuck with caffeine. Anyway, out of 7, I'm honestly going to be pretty harsh here. I'm going to give it a 2 because it could have been really amazingly interesting about canned foods that no longer exist. Half of these were not in cans, and 2 of them were the same fucking thing.
I'm gonna go with a 3.
Yep, so
Just because
3.
I want those fucking Pringles still, even though they're not in a can. I just want to eat them.
I am going to give it a 4 because even though they did 2 of those shaped pasta, I actually like one version of it, so I probably like them.
Well, yeah, but it's basically they could have just said Chef Boyardee shaped pasta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have to be. Well, okay. Before we go for the day, because we are going to end, I have to dig up your review, or I'm sorry, your customer feedback of the Chef Boyardee chicken Alfredo.
Oh, yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, EB ordered some cans of chicken Alfredo from Chef Boyardee. You know, Chef Boyardee is not good, but it'll do in a pinch. This was not a pinch. This was... I just remember, like, EB was so grossed out about it that they left feedback, and I got to find it.
And they sent me coupons for 1 small can and 1 family-sized can, which I've actually never seen a family-sized can of Chef Boyardee in my life.
Wow.
Okay, I'm having a hard time finding it because apparently we use the word Alfredo on the Discord quite a lot.
Let me try Boyardee.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Found it.
Yeah.
So this is what EB wrote to the Chef Boyardee company.
Oh, God.
Chef Boyardee chicken Alfredo is disgusting, all caps there. I knew it probably wouldn't be good, but when you're poor, $1 a can for not good becomes acceptable. But this is vile. It didn't even smell right. 2 bites in and I wanted to vomit. I threw it away, took out the trash so I don't have to smell it, rinsed the bowl, washed the dishes to clean the bowl and fork thoroughly, drank cranberry juice to cleanse my palate, debated calling it an exorcist and or setting the place on fire. If somebody donated this shit to the homeless, I'd want them arrested for cruelty. I can't imagine the last time I tasted something so gross marketed as something people should eat.
Wow.
I had some strong opinions.
EB,
I think you may have.
EB, can you tell me how you really feel, though?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how you really feel about it? This has been a fun show.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get together and do this. We're going to go over the schedule. We're going to do a raid, all the usual shit that we do. So let me just do this here. So tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be playing more of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on GameCube. Saturday night, more of Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. Sunday night, more of Castlevania Curse of Dark. We're going to finish Castlevania Curse of Darkness for PS2. Monday afternoon, I hate when my Steam library just shows up. We're going to probably finish Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper for PlayStation. Tuesday night, we're going to continue along with more of Guacamelee for for Steam. Wednesday afternoon, we're going to continue along with probably finish Spider-Man. It's not a very long game. That's on the Dreamcast that I'm playing it. And then Thursday night, a week from today, well, obviously not List Critics, but well, I guess
Hobbit, right?
Yeah, we'll do we gotta read The Hobbit. That's right. We'll read The Hobbit. We might, I don't know, I think it's going to be 4 streams, so I think we'll probably won't finish The Hobbit, because I'm going through it slowly, obviously.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go over, not there, let's go over here and see if we can find ourselves a raid here. We've had some pretty fun raids recently. A lot of people on. Dan's on. Oh, Amethyst's on. I gotta raid Amethyst. She's trying so hard to beat the last boss of Hollow Knight. She's been grinding at the boss for like 6 hours.
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, she's not the type of person to play a difficult game like Hollow Knight, so the fact that she's gotten to the true final boss is really, really amazing.
Nice.
So she's gonna get it. She's getting there. You know what I mean? But she's not giving up. That's just I gotta admire that.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta write something Hollow Knight related here. Let's see. Yeah. I'm gonna write people who call Link Zelda call him the Hollow Knight. Because it's true, right? Why can't Metroid crawl?
Yeah.
I like Halo. He doesn't afraid of anything.
She
So
shoots
copy
the
and
bad
paste
guys.
it. Yeah, he shoots the bad guy. I couldn't remember the exact phrasing. I mean, it looks like Amethyst actually just started up the game, even though she's like an hour in. But anyway, you know the deal, guys. We're going to head over there. Jellyfish is helping. Yes, exactly. So we'll see you guys over there. All that jazz. And tomorrow for Paper Mario, which, you know, that's always a fun time. So here we go. We're doing it. I'm pressing right now.